I am having some issues. I don't know why. Oh, I'm like, where is that coming from? I don't know why it's not working. What the heck is going on? But in the meantime, I'm here on this side of things. Okay, now it's supposed to be okay. Hi, P. Yeah, it's really strange. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully, you can still see me. Like, I'm having good kilobytes per second this time, but I don't know. I'm just really frustrated. I need to get out of my frustration because, it's okay. I'll just move past it. I don't know. I think it's just frustrating when you don't even know what's going on, and I do feel the pressure. Like this was supposed to be like so fun, and I like had I downloaded it. I downloaded new music. Um, how is the music? Is it too loud? Can you hear it? Um, I have this like crazy idea to kind of have a little bit of like club background music for a Friday. I don't know. Um, okay, so sorry, I'm trying to get settled in. Okay, I think now we're good. Now we're good. All right. Whew, boy, that was a little too much for a Friday. Friday, not so fun day. um. Okay, you don't hear it now. Okay. What about now? I will say that this microphone, I guess, it's pretty good because it's just kind of probably capturing my voice. I'm also live on Instagram for the first time. And that's not why, because that happened after the whole like I can't load thing. But yeah, okay, alrighty. So on Fridays, I almost want to say doc or docket or whatever, but I'm not a lawyer, so this is not. But I'm just, especially today, I was trying to get through the whole Blake Lively or the response to Blake Lively. She also filed, there's the new filing. I was trying to get through it, and I only got through like, I think, 5, 6 pages. I highlighted because I thought, like, oh, maybe that's like, you know, helpful, not just for me, but also for you guys. Um, okay, let's see. So I just saw, literally when I was trying to load, I just saw um, uh, Lauren's live, like the title, like the thumbnail title, apparently something with, yeah, Blake Brown. Oh my gosh. Blaming this whole thing on that stupid hair care brand. I'm sorry, like, regardless of who you are, even like J Lo, like she has her skincare, which I don't think is skincare. I think it's just like fancy stuff. I'm not convinced. Like, it's hard for you to tell me that a, oh sorry, that a what is this trying to be, um, like a celebrity anything is like magic or like good. I barely trust. I don't even trust like Estee Lauder or anything like that. It's really hard for me to trust the brand, especially with skincare. Clinique messed up my skincare, my skin. I had like pretty good skin, and then I did, the 3-step whatever, and it irritated my skin, and I've never been able to get it back. So, like, since then I learned my lesson. Don't trust just anyone. So yeah, let's read this one first because this is newer and shorter. Yeah, very much shorter. So, um, dear Judge Lyman, we are U.S. Counsel to Family Hive LLC, doing business as Blake Brown Beauty, and to give to give back Beauty International LLC, a member and business partner of Blake Brown, and right with regard to the March. That is a lot of LLCs. That's a lot of like, okay, yeah, it like just spiked for some reason. Can't, like, it's really odd. Maybe if I just like turn it from here. I see like a little bit of the things, but anyways. But that's a lot of like, why do we need 3 different things? Like, I understand, having like a parent company and then the actual whatever it is, but like this, I don't understand what Give Back Beauty International LLC is. She trying to be like charitable now? 'Cause I don't believe that she's charitable. I don't believe. You know what I was thinking today? There's this whole politicizing stuff. Let me get on the main screen for a second. There's this whole politicizing, like which side are you on, et cetera, et cetera, and that like pro Justin. Why did I do that? Pro Justin people, excuse me, are um what, right side politically? Which one? Whichever one is the I don't even like saying conservative because the conservative, literally the word conservative can be applied to both sides. Blah blah blah. But anyways, I was thinking like I bet you, I would bet so much that that I don't have, that Blake and Ryan voted for Trump. The only way that they didn't would be A, they didn't vote at all, which is possible, or B, I don't know, some kind of like extraneous circumstance, or extraneous like thing. And the reason I say that, because, and this is how it ties in, just 1 second. This whole Give Back Beauty International LLC, when I read that, I'm like, there is no way these people care about other people. Based on what we've read from their own words, not even like the Justin side of things, the Wayfarer filings and everything, but just what they say, how they speak, it's not them, of course, but like how they allow their representatives, aka these lawyers, to speak on their behalf, and or they themselves speak, and how, you know, interviews and all this. There's no way that these people, Blake and Ryan, care about other people. The only time they care about other people is to look like they're like charitable, or, to give that speech about kids. And like, for me, it was even hard. Like, do they even care about their kids? Which is like terrible to say, and I don't want to say that, and I just said that. I I don't think the thing is, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised about anything with them. But that's the thing, like, as far as this, and this is not a smear campaign. This is like from their own words. Like, I'm saying, this is my opinion and my perception based on how they speak, what they say, what they focus on. The whole like attorney's eyes only and everything. It was around keeping their money safe and keeping their businesses safe. And case in point, Blake Brown Beauty. Oh my gosh, that's so hard to BBB, because I'm not saying that too many times. GBB and BBB, and Family Hive. I can do that one. Like, it was all about that. It wasn't about personal safety. like, oh, we can't have people find out where we live or whatever, or like the personal safety of our friends and family and so forth. No, it was about money and protecting their money and their like businesses and so forth. Also, a business that honestly I think it would have failed anyways, maybe a little bit like slower fail. But this came before all of this lawsuit. So I don't know. People didn't hate her that much before this lawsuit. People didn't like, they were like just kind of like at best just she's a terrible person, whatever, go on with your life. But now it's like we've kind of made it our mission to care. And the reason I say like they probably voted for Trump because like Trump is all about the interest of um like rich people keeping rich, staying rich, keeping their money, staying rich, tax cuts, and like this whole thing where it's like chaos and it's all about self-interest for him, for his people, not even for his people in his mind, but like the people that are around him, the same thing, and for them too. So it's interesting that I wonder if that's why I just noticed. Wait, hold on. Where is it? Where I just, I wonder if I wonder where was I going with that? Okay, no, I just I just had a squirrel moment. Darn it. Oh boy. All right. Sorry, my logo was like off. Yeah, I forgot. Anyways, let's this is why things take so long with me. Okay. So, but I feel like very strongly about that. I felt like, whoa. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. All right. So, with regard to March 13th, 2025 protective order entered in the above referenced actions, Section 10 of the protective order authorizes third parties such as Blake, Brown, and GBB in this instance to petition the court for a protective order to here we go, here we start to to petition the court for a protective order or similar safeguards to the extent that discovery material defined in Section 1 is requested, which implicates contractual or other obligations or confidentiality owed to a third party. In this case, BBB and GBB. We are informed that discovery requests to the plaintiff, the first request for protection, implicate discovery material which we caution invokes confidentiality obligations important to BBB and GBB. To the extent the parties request or seek to produce discovery material which implicates confidentiality and other obligations owed to BBB and GBB, makes it more fun to read that way, including trade secrets, proprietary information, confidential information related to trade and business practices and relationships, or similar information or data which implicates confidentiality and similar concerns. BBB slash GBB will exercise its right to seek such court protection. We have executed the NDA accompanying the protective order and will maintain the confidentiality of any discovery demand or discovery material furnished to us. We also will work with counsel to avoid motion practice with regard to attorney's eyes only or confidentiality designations on responsive discovery material. And then protecting BBB and GBB, confidential agreements, information, trade and business practices, and the very competitive beauty and healthcare. I'm sorry. It came out. I couldn't help myself. I couldn't help. It just couldn't. Oh my gosh. Beauty and healthcare business is important to all parties involved in the industry, especially when implicating business arrangements with international celebrities. We thank the court for its attention to this important matter. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. I feel like I'm not going to like break it down because we have so much else, but like, and also I need to like sit with it because I mean, okay. First of all, what does her hair care line have anything to do with this? The only things that would be related would be, hey, like, what are the dates that, like in terms of, and that can be attorney eyes only, or just confidential, I would say, but um that would be like things where it's indicated that she kind of tried to get these two things at the same time, to for the movie to come out with the hair care line, or like vice versa. So that's like the only thing that I can think of. Oh, I just noticed something. Hold on. Maybe that was, well, no, because that, okay, anyways. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It just sounds ridiculous. It sounds really, hold on. I'm sorry. Friday. It's Friday. And it's not off to the best start. But yeah, so um I don't know, I just felt embarrassment reading this. You think you're that important? Also, you think your brand is going to like keep going? Are you serious? And who are these international celebrities? Business arrangements with international celebrities. What? I'm sorry, but what celebrity currently would promote this hair care line that's Blake's hair care line? I will say that the donut thing, I, my thoughts. I didn't really like the donut situation, how the public responded to it. It leaned into like beehive bullying, or Swifty bullying, like it went too far. Some people did, and at some point, but I don't agree. I didn't think it was like, oh yay, I like her, whatever. Um, I'll say that, um, oh gosh, my brain is also just like just scattered now. Oh yeah. I just saw like news report or something. I don't know who I was watching before this. Someone, it was either Cersei or I don't even remember. Anyways, but talking about the donut shop, how it's getting a lot of backlash. The Yelp reviews, I think it was Cersei. The Yelp reviews, or Yelp comments were turned off, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, that sucks, because what did this owner do? Maybe they are friends, maybe they're family, maybe they're BFFs, but this is what I'm saying. Like, what international celebrities, what celebrities who right now wants to be associated with Blake Lively? It would be incredibly stupid. You can, support her. I think that will also cost you, but that's a little different. But to be a spokesperson for any of her brands, including herself, which I guess like supporting her would be being a spokesperson, someone for a brand of her. Um, that would be just highly damaging to their career right now. So that's why I'm like, this is so ridiculous. I'm sorry for the autofocus. I don't know why that's happening. Is there some like weird planet alignment or something? Because that's what it feels like right now. Um, hold on. Let me see. I was trying to see. Hmm. Yeah, I was trying to see if I can go live on TikTok, but I don't think I can. I need 1,000 followers. Well, I'm 700 some short. I'm at one. I'm at 38 followers. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Sorry. Distracting. Distracting. All right. The other part. We'll go with this one because then again, it's a smaller one. And I had to copy this article this way because it was just too much. Um, I mean, yeah, Lauren covered this, so I mean, I support her take on it. But I wanted to kind of read it all. Um, so Bryan Freedman tells TMZ this convoluted statement that makes it abundantly clear that Miss Lively and team are rattled and once again resorting to making inflammatory remarks to steer focus away from the actual facts. Clearly, they want to divert the public's attention from the receipts, the actual documents, video footage, and additional evidence shown that make it irrefutable that there was no SH. It's also surprising that Miss Lively, I almost said Mr. Lively, you know, Miss Lively and her team are suddenly speaking so passionately about the hard-won rights of the survivor community, and I have things to say about that part. Um, People were wrong for the Yelp review. Yeah, sorry. Um, Unfortunately, they gave them fodder for outrage by not wearing hairnets, but mostly it was about the obvious PR stunts. Yeah, in fact, you're in the ridiculous motion to dismisses. I'm guessing, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't even know, but I mean that this is why I was saying I think the whole like donut thing went a little too far because you have people out there, especially that I mean, it's not that we're responsible for what people will do and say, but we have some responsibility. We have some just innate responsibility that if we say something and we rile people up, people are going to be riled up and they're going to say things. Now, did those people just like come across something and they didn't see any content creator and just, go to Yelp and, type whatever they typed? Maybe some of them came from like after watching, content creators. So I think there's like that social responsibility type responsibility that I'm talking about. Um, and then there's it's like but part of me also is not happy. Happy is not the right word, but I don't know what word that this is like backfiring. I don't think that it's great for the people that will get involved, but then you also think, well, this may teach people to not get involved unless they really really support her, but just because she offered something or whatever, then maybe think twice. I don't know, it's like it's so hard, but yeah. But that this like we know that everything that she touches right now will get like so many celebrities, so many people have to like close their comments or just delete, negative ones, which I would rather just close the comments honestly, because of her effect. So yeah. Um, where was I? Oh yeah, about the survivor community. Um, oh my gosh, I think this my phone. My phone doesn't stay. No one's on Instagram Live, anyways. I don't know. I try so hard. Well, I don't try so hard. Keep going. So yeah. Suddenly speaking so passionately about the hard-won rights of the survivor community, considering she sidestepped this topic for the entirety of the film campaign, focusing instead on her hair care and alcohol products, which at that time caused the organic backlash that she received. She does not need discovery to find out who smeared her. Just a mirror will do. I love his comments sometimes. They're just like so like yeah. They're just so like catty sometimes. Blake Lively is outraged by Justin Baldoni's latest declaration in their bombastic PR war. Just makes me think of like Britney Spears, a song "Bombastic Love," is it, or something like that? Claiming her former co-star thinks SH victims should not be protected under the law. That is not what they say. That is not what they say. Oh my gosh. This is going to be hard. I knew, like, I got so riled up watching Lauren just cover, like, the basics of this article. Um, it's like, oh my gosh. How can you, and my comment to her, what I had written was, I don't know right now, but basically, like, why, instead of proving your point or proving your facts or bringing facts to prove your point, to prove your claims, to prove your allegations, this is to Blake Lively and team, why, instead of doing that, we think because she doesn't have any, but why, instead of doing that, you are going to, like, attack and claim things that are not true? There's such exaggerations. Um, Even like things like just a mirror will do, and all the things that Bryan Freedman has said, largely they might be like flowery language, but I don't, off the top of my head, and I might be wrong, I don't remember anything that was like wrong. It was like misconstruing, whatever that word is, the facts, like twisting things around to say things that were not actually said. Ugh, this is also like kind of not triggering, but just frustrating. Here's the deal. Late Thursday, the It Ends With Us director clapped back at Blake's attempt to get his lawsuit against her thrown out, opposing her motion. What? So itchy. Opposing her motion on the grounds she allegedly orchestrated, participated in, and directed a smear campaign designed to ruin the reputations and careers of his production company. His attorney also invoked Justin's First Amendment right to drag her into court for making false accusations about him. I mean, which side are you on, TMZ? Drag her? I mean, we know, but, just asking a rhetorical question, I guess. Now, Blake's legal team attorneys, Mike Gottlieb, and Ezra Hudson, tells TMZ, oh, that's right, Justin Baldoni, the man who has built his brand on supposedly speaking up for victims, believes that the First Amendment rights of victims of SA and harassment to speak out should give way to the rights of perpetrators to sue their victims into oblivion. That's not what they said. They add, Justin and his lawyer, Bryan Freedman, are so hell-bent on destroying Blake, they're trying to shed a law meant to protect victims and send a chilling effect to others from speaking out. Who started this? I believe someone else invoked this law or, brought it up. Freedman, of course, sees it exactly the opposite way, telling us Miss Lively and her circle of Hollywood elites cannot prevent my clients from exercising their constitutional right to petition the court to clear their names from her false and harmful claims. Bottom line, neither side is backing down, and both believe they're not only defending themselves, but the Constitution itself. I don't know that Blake Lively's side believes that she's defending the Constitution because this law is not in the Constitution. It's like a law. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. But yeah. Anyways, it's not like one of the amendments. But she keeps claiming that she's doing this for other victims, and she's not. And what is her whole fight about? Smear campaign and, her businesses and her money. Where is it about her, like, emotional damages, her, all that stuff? It's like an afterthought, just because, like, oh yeah, we have to include that because, this is what we're talking about. So, gosh, when I was watching Ask Two Lawyers earlier, I was having some thoughts around, like, I don't know right now. I did not about the ask two lawyers, but the donut thing. I'm like, yeah, it's stupid. It's not exaggerate. Not everything needs to be a level 5 alarm, fire alarm. Um, yeah, this whole like 47.1 First Amendment fight. I think I was actually, you know, give myself credit sometimes. I think I was the first one on that live to say, so will this change this law? Will we now, um, which is like, that was the first time where it felt really clear how her actions are damaging the rights and the safety of future victims, of actual victims. And if this law is changed, I mean, I think if it's so strict that someone accused of these things cannot defend themselves, cannot, you know, I think the idea is like, yeah, you can defend yourself, but you can't countersue. But I don't know exactly how that works. I don't know if that's like a thing. But if you can't defend yourself, that is constitutionally wrong, right? So, um, on Ask Two Lawyers, they were saying, or they were people were asking, like, is this a new fair? Because they say that it's a really new law, but is this the first time that it's kind of seen a case, especially a big case like this? And so I don't know, but I think a lot of times things kind of have to be amended and like flushed out because you can't really think ahead of every possible scenario. But this is a pretty big scenario that they should have thought of. I mean, in no place on earth will it be that, you know, no one will take advantage or claim falsely any kind of allegation. So they should have taken that into consideration. And I wonder, I didn't read the law and I don't know that I would understand it if I would. Um, but you know, I would imagine they would have said something. The two lawyers would have said something if there was anything in it that kind of spoke to such a circumstance where, you know, it might be very likely that these allegations were false. It's just like crazy that was not considered. So, yeah. Um Sorry already. And I even have this like music. I don't even know if you can like hear it. Um oh, they said that her deposition is going to be a nightmare and, you know, like yeah, she's an actress, but she's like playing chess with a chess master and she's like a novice. And I will say that I feel like a misconception about actors and psychologists where people think, oh, like if you're a psychologist, like you like can see right through me and can read my mind and all this stuff. And same with actors, like, oh, you can lie, you know, and like in a relationship or just anywhere or, you know, not on the stand, but, you know, I guess technically, you know, you can be found out. um it's illegal, but you know, um but actors, it's not, I mean, you do have those like method actors like Heath Ledger and what's his name, the other guy who played just recently played the Joker, who like really go super method and they are in their character for a long time. I don't know though that equals to lying or being able to keep straight with a story that is not real. Um, so like yeah, she can act, which some people say she can't. Um, which I also would say like she clearly wants to create her own scripts because she says like you can't just give me any clothing, any like lines and expect me to like and expect me to act them. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's literally your only job. That's your first responsibility as an actor. But okay. So she can't really act from a script. So even if they would, her, because they do have like preparation for the positions, right? So even if they do kind of give her a script and they, ask her all these different questions, um, yeah, one, like they said, the two lawyers said, Bryan Freedman and her lawyers too are so much better than any of these people, unless they were a lawyer in their past lives. Um, and two, and I was saying, and I didn't write it, but basically, like, she's so long winded and she is so word salad that, because they were saying like, the lawyers could technically interrupt her, or like stop her from answering anything that's like really damning or whatever, but I don't know that they would even know when to intervene. They'll probably be as confused as everyone else. Meanwhile, she's being recorded, and Bryan Freeman and team taking notes and all this stuff on everything that's coming out of her mouth. And then later on they have the um what do you call it, the luxury of sitting with all of these notes and going through everything and analyzing it and putting it together and realizing, like, we often have seen, like, oh my gosh, she said this here and that there, and like, yeah. And she also tells her on herself all the time. So yeah, there's no way that she's not that amazing of an actor. And also, even amazing actors, I don't believe, excuse me, can lie um as easily as we think, and manipulate as easily as we think, because it's like an extended period of time. Like, you can say, like, yeah, she shows up, she says something, okay, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but then for like half an hour or more, there's no way, unless she's that master manipulator in like such a, but if she would be, we wouldn't have all the things that we've seen. That's all I'm saying. I'm like going in circles now. But yeah, but I also wanted to point out, it's such a misconception that actors like will, dating an actor, they can lie to you and they get away with it. No. Acting and lying are not the same thing. And I, like, as doing Meisner, you can emotionally prepare, but again, you can do it, but like, it's always like truthful. Like, it's interesting. Like, you're connected to an emotion and to a circumstance, um, but it's truthful. It's based in truth. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, they keep doing temperature checks, mainly with Blake. Ryan was at the donut shop, but he wasn't pictured. Oh, interesting. They need to stay out of the public eye. Oh, at least they're together. At least they're doing it together. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good, term, temperature checks. That's, yeah, absolutely. And also, like, it's interesting because there's so many people that were saying to her, all these, like, content creators having PR people on their shows or on their videos, and asking, like, what would you advise her if this was your client? And that was, I remember that came up so many times, like, go and do, like, be nice and do public I think just the the few days before the donut shop thing, there was someone, I think on Shirsty's videos, I want to say, that said that. I forget, maybe, I don't remember whose videos it was on. And so, yeah, they're like, okay, well, maybe we should try this. I said last time, like, yeah, this would have worked at the very, very beginning. Not anymore. Too late. It is, they're really behind on all of what they should be doing. And then Oh yeah, and the smear campaign that was so untraceable, yet they know it happened. um, oh, and then I said I think it's very interesting the parallel between Blake Lively and kind of what's going on in the government. It's like this gaslighting and just this belief that they're infallible, how do you pronounce that, like nothing can touch them, they will win, and whatever they say will be believed. You have no choice as the public, you have no choice but to believe Blake and to believe Donald Trump. So I'm like, that's so interesting, and they're both blonde. I don't but it's just like it's really, remember I was watching The Apprentice and I was like, oh my gosh, my first reaction I remember was like, this is like Blake's rule book right here. Deny, turn things around, never admit defeat. I forget the rules. And there's so many like correlations between the two kind of ideologies and approaches to life. And yeah, what's going on right now is like crazy. And it's like we have the Blake Lively thing that's like a pretty small scale, and then we have the whole government thing that's like extremely large scale and kind of uncontainable. Is that a word? I don't know. Amber Heard was a deflector and snarky. I saw Amber Heard's UK deposition. Lawyers have ways of keeping people on track. Yeah, I don't think that Bryan Freedman would be in any kind of way like not good at this. If he deposes her or anyone of his team, and I'm going to get into this his reply to or the team Wayfarer team reply, but literally like my final point here, not off topic but right before this whole reading, her lawyers are supposedly from the DC area, or at least the one video I was watching from Shirsty was saying that. And I was thinking, just because someone might be good, because she was kind of saying that she probably hired the DC lawyers and or connections to DC, lawyers with a connection to DC, and this Shapiro guy, which always confuses me because there's the other Shapiro guy. Oh crap, my mic is going to go away soon. And the just because they do good, let's say, things for like the government, and they can like do certain things, doesn't mean that they're like able to take on entertainment lawyers and entertainment law, because this is, at the end of the day, is entertainment law. It's not, it's Suits LA, it's not Suits original. Gosh, that show sucks, but like the idea of it, Bryan Freedman, to my knowledge, has had so many clients that were in the entertainment area. So, if not, like that's his like main specialty, or like his only one, and his teams. So for entertainment law, for defamation, for SH in the entertainment industry, especially, um, you need protection in the form of people that are very specialized in this. And that's, I was thinking like maybe that's why her team, maybe the lawyer, was it like one lawyer that came on newly or whatever a few weeks ago, maybe that's better. But I think she was thinking like completely more like business oriented, or who knows what friends they have, and she was thinking not entertainment industry. And maybe that's why they're like, we see them as crappy, because they just don't know how to speak about things the same. Anyways, all right, so this is pretty small, isn't it? Well, also, like, I have the 2-pager. Let me try to put the 1-page. How do I do that? I don't know. Single page. So hard. All right. Cool. So, beginning paragraph. These are happening. Blah, blah, blah. So, the introduction. The first amended complaint contains hundreds of pages rife with factual detail about Lively's calculated efforts, first to extort and manipulate the Wayfarer parties into ceding total control over the film It Ends With Us, and then to defame and scapegoat them when her plan backfired. And I said this somewhere and I don't have it in my notes, but maybe it was just like off of this. Um, didn't I say like a few days ago that like she's the one that smeared, like the smear campaign started with her, is hers? And now I didn't own that. Like it's not like I was the first one, I'm sure, to say it. But it's like it's up in the air more. Not up in the air, but it's in the air more now. Um, nonetheless, oh, and then to defame and scapegoat them. Blah. Nonetheless, Lively refuses to accept responsibility for the trail of untold destruction she left in her wake. But she goes further still. Lively asks this court not only to dismiss the FAC, but also to award her attorney's fees, costs, and treble and punitive damages for the Wayfarer Party's constitutionally protected act of petitioning the court, for redress of the grievances. In essence, Lively asks the court to find that she is immune from any culpability for her wrongful acts, and instead it is the Wayfarer parties who must be punished for daring to exercise their constitutional right to seek a remedy from the court for her lies. I feel like this is a little too strong, but here we are, lawyer speak. The part that I feel like is a little too strong, like I would feel uncomfortable saying this, is yeah, like I think she has culpability in things, um but to seek a remedy for the court for her lies, it's like it's really rendering everything as invalid, and I don't know about that. The motion must be denied, just very straight out. The FAC specifically alleges abundant facts in support of the Wayfarer Party's claims against Lively, based both on her own direct actions and of those of her co-conspirators and agents. The Wayfarer parties have pleaded allegations against Lively sufficient to defeat dismissal, and Lively's arguments often border on frivolous. And I highlighted that because I'm like, that is so like just direct. In particular, oh, I remember doing this. Lively's argument that California Civil Code Section 47.1 immunizes her from liability would require the court to determine as a matter of law that she acted alone and without malice, and that she had a reasonable basis for her claims. In other words, to make findings of disputed fact not apparent on the face of the pleadings, which flies in the face of well established rules governing motions brought by Rule 12b-6. I like how the like in other words is like harder to understand. I feel like, okay, so this is for all the people reading this online, and then let me put it in like lawyer speak for actual stuff. When the court assumes the truth of the facts set forth in the FAC, as it must in ruling on this motion, the only possible result is a denial of the motion in full, regardless. Any technical defects or instances of inartful pleading in the FAC can be readily cured by amendment, which is freely allowed, and the Wayfarer parties are every day obtaining further facts to plead in support of each of their claims against Lively. It is, I will say that it is like a wait and see, and I'm very curious how this will go as far as this 47.1 thing, because I can see, gosh, I can see a point to, say, well, you can defend yourself, but because I don't know the law that well, can they defend themselves without countersuing? That's what I'm like curious about, and I didn't think of asking that. for the lawyers. Anyways, furthermore, the Wayfarer parties can amend their complaint to more fully incorporate the allegations of Exhibit A into the body of the complaint, mooting the motion to strike. So basically, like, oh, you want us to get rid of Exhibit A? We'll just include it in the amendment. Okay. It was bold but true. She lied and continues to lie. Yeah. 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 I will say that, this is like the thing that was happening at the, in the fall too. Like, in between these filings, and especially when her team responds, it's not that I give her the benefit of the doubt or like, oh, she's not that bad. Excuse me, sorry. But you do kind of, I don't know, every time that she comes with a new statement or a new filing, you remember how frustrating she is. Um, and I think every time you expect for her to see reason, or I do, and she doesn't. Like, not even close. I'm not saying, okay, she clearly won't come out and say, hey, I was wrong. I get that. She's in this and she can't do that. But, like you said, to lay low or to do anything that would be, I don't even know what would be in her favor. I don't know. Certain Judge Lyman has her stronger language, calling it what it is matters. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I didn't think that the language was strong so far. Um, if anything, I thought it was like a little too cheesy, a little too, oh, yeah. But yeah, anyways. Um, oh, yeah. Did I read that? In the extremely unlikely event that the court determines that dismissal without leave to amend is appropriate, Lively is still not entitled to a word of fees, costs, treble damages, and punitive damages that she seeks. The draconian one-sided sanctions that Lively demands under California Civil Code 47.1b are, in a matter of first impression, barred by the Noor-Pennington Doctrine, which precludes the imposition of liability for the exercise of rights protected by the Petition Clause of the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects the right to petition the government for a redress of grievances. In other words, the Constitution safeguards Americans' rights to ask the government to take action, such as by bringing legal claims. So I still have that question. What's the difference between defending and countersuing? I'm getting a little nervous, not gonna lie, about it. So this doctrine bars courts from punishing litigants for bringing good faith claims, including through the imposition of harsh penalties like the treble damages award Lively seeks here, because the Wayfarer parties have brought forth good faith claims against Lively that are neither objectively baseless nor subjectively brought for improper purposes. I feel like that's a dig, but just probably it's just like stating facts. The first or belief, the First Amendment protects them from being punished for the act of seeking relief from this court. In short, the motion must be denied or at most granted with leave to amend. In no event, on this motion or at any stage of this proceeding, will the First Amendment permit the extreme and unconstitutional award of fees, costs, and treble and punitive damages Lively demands. And I found this sentence, and I don't remember that they spoke about this, but I found this sentence to be confusing because I just may not know the first, and they go into it, but I find it confusing that the fees and all the stuff that they would have to pay are related to the First Amendment of speech and so forth. I don't know. Anyways, I just skipped through all that like references. So under California law, defamation is an invasion of the interest in reputation. The tort involves the intentional publication of a statement of fact that is false, unprivileged, and has a natural tendency to injure or which causes special damage. Defamation may consist of either libel or slander. Libel is defined as a false and unprivileged publication by writing which exposes any person to hatred, contempt, ridicule, or obliquy. I'm so sorry. I was on a good like streak there. Or which causes him to be shunned or avoided, or which has a tendency to injure him in his occupation. But this quote does say by writing, not by spokenness. So, yeah. Slander is a false and unprivileged publication orally uttered. Oh, okay. So, libel is when it's written, slander is when it's spoken. Where the defamation is clear without the need for any explanation, it is considered defamation per se, and damages are presumed. In an action for damages based on language defamatory per se, damage to the plaintiff's reputation is conclusively presumed, and he need not introduce any evidence of actual damages in order to obtain or sustain an award of damages. The definition of libel per se is very broad and has been held to include almost any language which, upon its face, has a natural tendency to injure a person's reputation, either generally or with respect to his occupation. I think that's like, that's a, sexual predator comment right there. A statement will qualify as slander per se if it charges the commission of crime or tends to directly injure a plaintiff with respect.
soft spot for people who remember me. But he was just such a nice, genuinely nice guy. And I think when you're so fresh off the boat here, you are just like doing whatever people tell you to do. So she was definitely in the power position. So what about red carpets and stuff? Because that looks nerve-wracking.
Yes.
What has the experience been so far?
I nearly missed my first premiere a couple of weeks ago. Uber, no, because the car was so far away and that was going to take me. So yeah, it was a whole panic. But I'm not going to make the same mistake come September 10th.
Yeah. So Henry Golding being so new in the industry, of course he would.
To arrive because that's not this.
So new in the that she should grab.
As promised, I'm gonna try Blake Lively's hair care line so you don't have to. Oh my god! I don't have lesbian pattern baldness anymore! This is incredible! I tried to look at what's in it, but the back of the bottle just said, attorney's eyes only.
I mean,
Oh, goodness. Me and Mike stories. Yeah, you haven't missed too much, I think. You've just missed my brain. I forgot I have my dog again. You just missed my being just frazzled, technical difficulties at all sorts. She said her hair smells like donuts. Oh, I didn't watch the whole thing. I'll watch it and like it. I thought it was my earpod. No, it's me. Just to generally assume that it's my microphone. Yeah. Countersuits are inherently defenses and a different in this and a different framing of events in this instance of a more truthful. Okay. Well, I know that obviously they're a defense, but is it possible to have a defense without countersuing is my thought, because if not, then yeah, that law needs to like be altered to protect people that will get sued wrongfully, just like we believe is this one. Just got out of work, I feel drained. Oh well, I was like debating on reading all of this tomorrow, but I feel like I signed up for it. I put it on my on my thumbnail. But I don't want to give any more headaches or like, yeah, it's hard. But I highlighted it. Instagram can't see it, unfortunately. I need to get that like StreamYard or whatever helps me stream at the same time through everything in the same way. That law is draconian. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy the stream. Okay, yeah, just take it easy. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. Tea and magnesium. Yeah. I was so sleepy before coming online. Oh my gosh. I was like, can I just delay this until tomorrow morning? But I was so excited. Oh, wait, I stopped the music. Let's get the music going again. I had like my little like club music. I was like, oh, I'm ready. And I shared on Instagram and on TikTok and whatever. I'm like, let's do this. But yeah, I'm falling asleep. So, the other things that now I really kind of want to try to find this Henry Golding thing, because it was just, I'm 99.99999% sure it was Jersey. Maybe it was just a different video. Because like it's just like thing after thing after thing. Why are these people so unprofessional? And then they're suing someone for being unprofessional when they are so unprofessional, to say the least. I can relax by distracting myself. Where are we at now? Well, we're at page 5 of the response. I also read, if you want to go back and watch I don't know, what's the other thing? This hair care line situation. How, oh gosh, yeah, just watch the replay on that one. But she wants, basically, I'm sure maybe you've heard of it already, I don't know, but she wants, to protect her hair care line. I'll re-go through this one. Protecting Blake Brown and what is it? Give Back Beauty International LLC, GBB, and BBB. Confidential agreements, information, trade and business practices, and in the very competitive, like that, fine, in the very competitive beauty and healthcare business, which made me, I think, did I gag at that one? Because it makes me want to do that again. Is important to all parties involved in the industry, especially when implicating business arrangements with international celebrities. Maria, what do you think of that? Because I think that's so ridiculous. Like, what, and we were talking with P, like how the donut shop, that got kind of smoldered. That's not the right word. I have a low battery. Not trashed. What's the word? Scorched. And now what international celebrities want to work with her? Oh, darn it. Sorry. Yeah, because I put the, I'm sorry. This is like such a mess. I'm going to just like give into it. It's a mess. It's like when you try hard, everything fails. This is at least in my experience, not everyone's experience, but, and when you're like not trying at all, like, oh, it's like great. But when you're like trying really hard, it's like everything goes wrong. Yeah, I don't even know where I left off. She needs to let the lawyers do their thing and stay out of the media. Yeah. Well, I think I won't fault her for the donut thing, because I think that was the first time they tried something different. They kept trying the same thing, kind of like their reply, to the motion to dismiss. They're like, oh, Mr. I support all victims, is trying to silence one kind of thing. And so this is like what they've been doing, staying quiet, letting the lawyers speak and all this stuff. And I think they were like, okay, let's try something else. And it failed. And I mean, I said, like, yeah, I don't agree with a lot of content creators like bullying all of this, but nothing she'll do is going to be right. So yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to like pivot, and don't hate me. I think I'm going to pivot to the other topics. Oh, wait. Shoot. All right. Sorry. To the other topics. And just get those out of the way, because this has been covered. Will be here tomorrow. I feel like I keep like transitioning the other topics over to other videos, and I just want to get them off my shoulders. And also because I'm struggling. I'm struggling today, and I need a pick-me-up, and this is going to put me to sleep. As interesting as it might sound or be, at the right time, reading the whole complaint, 45 pages. Yeah, it was getting to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. I don't know. People are upset. Nothing her PR does is going to change anything. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, he's been saying low, and but she did too at the beginning. I don't know. It's she wants her cake and to eat it too. I think with this, like she wants to, have this lawsuit, and maybe she didn't want to have it in the beginning. She wants to have this lawsuit, and then she also wants to be public and act like usual, have movie premieres and go about business as usual. That's probably what's going on. But yeah, all right. So, okay. Oh, speaking of cake, for some reason I was watching something. Probably, I've been watching a lot of these like videos with like food prep or whatever, and oh, I'm not. Oh, I'm not even on this mic. Okay, all right, never mind. I'm just on the regular one. That's why the music, you could hear the music more too. Okay, so yeah, wow. Maybe I should just go to bed. I feel like my brain is just like mush. Not I'm okay, but everything's coming out so tangled. I feel like this is a horrible life. But so I've been watching all of these things. This is not one of the topics. I'll just get through it. But it was like a lot of them have like eat granola or overnight oats for breakfast or all these things. And I feel like based on what I've read and learned, the last thing you want is to eat sugar in the morning. So speaking of cake, you shouldn't eat cake for breakfast, but you should definitely eat cake for dinner or a midnight snack. And yeah, I just wanted to say that because I just keep seeing these like, high protein, what I eat in a days or whatever is, trending right now with all the diets and everything, and meal prepping, not diets, meal prepping and diets. And to eat, I wouldn't eat like hard to digest things at night because you want to eat things that will digest relatively fast. But yeah, whatever is like sweet, eat it at night. Definitely do not eat sweet in the morning. For more information on that, visit I don't know the website, but the adrenal reset diet is where I've learned like the biology of that it's literally against your biology and your internal I forget what is it, the internal clock or something, your internal like system of what it means when it needs it. Like there is a science to that. It's not just like, oh, just eat, this amount of calories. Like I think to a point, yes, you can't exceed a certain amount of calories that you're like not burning. But if you're like focusing just on weight and stuff, anyways, I'm just getting way into this. I just wanted to mention, definitely eat cake for dinner. Don't eat cake for breakfast, just because I kept seeing these influencers do all of these like sweet breakfasts, and like it's interesting because they have like a light breakfast, a light lunch, and a heavy dinner. I'm like, this is so backwards. This is not literally backwards, but kind of. I eat anything but in moderation. Yeah, I don't eat anything after 6 p.m. Some people, it works great with that, like schedule, kind of like, what is the fasting thing? Some people don't eat breakfast, some people don't eat dinner. After 6 p.m., I would say like you're skipping dinner. And it works for them. For me, it works when I don't skip breakfast for sure. If I skip breakfast for like consecutively, my body goes into famine mode for sure. But yeah, everyone has a different body and different system. But like as far as like eating sugar in the morning, you're supposed to fuel your body, your muscles, your body, etc. burn more like calories from fat than calories from carbs. So that's why, like, in the morning you want to have your bacon and your eggs. Fun fact, eggs, and this is like even in the medical field now, they're discovering that eggs do not lead to cholesterol because the egg is so like full, complete, that it has like things that help digest or whatever process cholesterol at the same time. So you end up, unlike with bacon, like you end up canceling it out, sort of. I don't know. That is like such a layman's way of explaining something that I read and intrinsically understood, but I don't know how to say back to people. So, but yeah, she has to stop and wait for years till everyone calms down. Yeah, and I was thinking now, honestly, that I don't know, with the way that she keeps playing he's silencing victims. At this rate, if she keeps going, she's going to destroy her career, period. And I'm cautiously saying that because we've seen so many people come back, from really bad things. But not when you're proven, like Army Hammer is like, I mean, I didn't even really know much, and I'm like for him and rebuild, but my body still feels like, a little tension when I hear his name or I, hear him talk about, and especially like when he talks about certain things, on his podcast. So it doesn't go away. Things don't go away. Even if you're proven innocent or not proven guilty. Same thing with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Like both of them, I'm like, I don't really want to see them. I know some of you are Johnny Depp fans, but he wasn't like, an angel either. So things came out as a result that put these people in a bad light. So that sticks with them for the rest of their lives and careers. But I think sometimes people can actually like burn themselves to the ground. And I feel like at this rate, this is what's going to happen if she keeps continuing, when we clearly see that this is not about the victims, not about doing good for the world. This is just her. And highly likely that even what she is claiming, again, it hasn't been technically proven, so I'm saying like highly likely and stuff, it's just even lies. So yeah, I don't know, like up to this point I was a little bit more like, oh, she'll come back, and I think she still can, but it's getting dimmer and dimmer for her to like be able to come back from this. So yeah, and she won't want to stay low for years, Maria. Like, she already doesn't want to stay low. I can't imagine her having that humility to do that. Not even that, not even asking for an apology, but even just like lay low and go away, have people forget enough so that you can like come back and redeem yourself. I don't think that's going to happen. I hate that I don't have this. Can you guys hear me like fairly okay? I hate that I don't have like my mic working. Or eternity, yeah. I drink apple cider vinegar before I eat breakfast and dinner. Ooh, tough stomach. Good for you. I can't do that. I don't have, I have acid reflux. I don't have the type where that helps. When even if I put vinegar, because in Romania we sometimes put vinegar in soup to make it more sour, and even when I do that, I get indigestion. It's really bad. But yeah, if you can do that, I heard it's amazing. It's a really like superfood. Eggs are a luxury now. We were promised cheaper eggs, even though there is a bird flu. Yeah. I hope we don't get cheaper. No, I don't hope that we don't get cheaper eggs, but I hope that we don't get cheaper eggs just because we stopped testing. If that makes sense. Especially having parakeets. I know they say like tropical birds are not, or whatever they are, because they're not tropical. They're from Australia originally. But these kinds of birds, they're not affected. It's more like fowl, like chickens, geese, things like that. But I still am like, I don't know. I don't know. And then with us, like it can transmit to us, especially because there's a lot of contact with like fowl and humans. So yeah. But I expect that's what's going to happen probably. It's just chaos right now. It's just chaos. I've also stopped eating because I just had not just, but I had started eating not cage free, but organic pasture pasture raised chicken eggs. Chickens, yeah, chickens too. And I stopped just like a few weeks ago, not even as early, because it didn't even click for some reason in my mind. And now I switched to cage free. I still don't like the cages because cage free can be inside, it doesn't have to be outside. So yeah. But I'm also curious why you drink apple cider vinegar before you eat breakfast and dinner. What does that do, or what do you know about that, P? I've not heard of that. What things came out? Oh my gosh. What did I say? What was I talking about? I don't remember what I was talking about. I'm sorry, P. When you asked what things came out. I'm tired of eggs anyway. Did the bacon and egg diet fad until I lost 40 pounds. I didn't know that was a fad. Okay. Can't look at eggs the same. Yeah, that's a danger when you like, I know people who like there was a pineapple diet, and I know one person that got an allergy because of that, because that's all they were eating, which is insane. There's also, by the way, you can eat only potatoes, and that's actually better for you because it has a lot more nutrients that we need, and lose weight if you just eat potatoes and only potatoes and potato stuff. But you know, like usually with potatoes, you have different fats and all these things. But I imagine after that, I wonder if we would get tired of potatoes the same way, because I don't know about you, but I literally am that person. They did this on How I Met Your Father. I'm literally that person that will eat like French fries with baked potato. And if you throw in like some mashed potatoes, I'll welcome that, and I'll eat that all in one meal. Not a lot of it because it's very filling, but I love potatoes. And so I don't know that I would ever hate potatoes. But I understand that when you're like eating the same thing for a long time. How long did you eat that? And what is that diet? The egg and bacon diet. Oh yeah, potato bloating. I don't even know what I ate today, but my stomach bloated like a lot. I think I may have eaten too much fiber. I don't know. Yeah, the bloating thing, I need to figure that out. We all have that issue. It's so annoying. Um, that's the problem with what for me, what is the worst part about the bloating is that it makes it harder to breathe, because it feels like it's just kind of like pulling all my like stomach and everything out, down and out, sort of. I don't know, that may be TMI. I don't know. That's the problem with the both sides argument. What you just said is an example of people being influenced by that, especially not having watched that trial. Oh yeah, yeah, and I didn't watch. Um, well, all that I was saying is that, yeah, I mean, yeah, like I wasn't a huge fan of him anyways. Like so maybe that also contributes to it, just like how people might not be fans of Blake and or Justin, so that might influence even further, even if they hear it or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. To me, it was like him and Ewan McGregor when they got divorced from their wives, like they're like my not affection, affinity, my affinity of them, my liking of them kind of dropped. And again, I loved Ewan McGregor. I wasn't here nor there with Johnny Depp. But yeah. Wait, you're saying what came out? What did I miss? What was I saying when you guys were asking what came out? Oh my god. Oh gosh. I wish there was like an AI that I could say, "Hey, what was I speaking about?" When these people were asking this or whatever. Um yeah, I can understand that. I can hear it clearly. Did the vinegar for years too, but got tired of that too. It works though. Um, I drink apple cider vinegar because it helps my stomach. I also have a savory breakfast. I'm also not a sweets person, especially these days. I also don't desire sweets as much as I used to. That's awesome. If you stop eating sugary sweets, and I even include fruit. I know people like no fruit, but it's bad. It's sugar is sugar, and actually like fruit sugar. There's this one YouTube like person that talks about like sugars and things. I don't know. Like it might be even not worse, not worse than like table sugar, but like processed more easy. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways. So yeah, but if you stop, then you're not craving it as much. And there's like this study on mice where, and I know we're not mice and blah blah, but back in the day, there was a study where if you fed the mouse like Doritos or whatever, I forget, and they might have actually done Doritos or French fries or something. I don't know, something that's like junk food, or like fruits or I forget, and something that's safe for them, but it's like also equally like for us like junk food. They would rather starve themselves than eat what's healthy. So like they gave them, the regular food they would eat happily, whatever, go on about their lives. And then they would give them this like junk food type food, and they would, I think one, they were like craving it more. But the interesting part was that when they would switch over back to their regular food and not ever switch back to the other food, they would not eat their regular healthy food. They would just starve until they get the other food or whatever. I mean, these studies probably were not the most humane or animane because they're not humans. But yeah, and I think about that a lot lately. How much I eat things that are, going into that dopamine fix or comfort eating and all that stuff. And yeah, like when you stop that, regular food is appealing again, but it takes so much hard like work and like will. Depends on how desperate you are. Like when I was very desperate, it was very easy to just like cut it all out. But yeah, now it's not that easy. If a man leaving because his partner won't stop arguing or hitting him is not him abusive. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about like obviously not that. Yeah, I was talking about like I don't even remember now. There was an image of something that was from the snippet of the trial that I did see. I don't remember. But yeah, no, not that. Yeah, of course. ATP, if you haven't grown or slaughtered your food, you have to accept the unknown. Yeah. Yep, that's true. And it would be like interesting if we would go back to that. I think it would be very hard to slaughter our own food. But I think of that one, I think it would eliminate waste because you would only whatever animal you're eating, it will only be whatever you're eating in your family. And not, I mean, because I don't know the statistics, but there's for sure like meat, like thrown in the trash all the time in grocery stores and things. So yeah, like that would be great. But it would also like help us connect with our food more. And I wonder, like, 'cause I'm on this like interesting like medium light right now, light dive into IBS and the connection, the way that it might be just like a literally just the brain. It's not the gut as much as like this connection with the brain and the gut, and how, you know, I know that I watch something when I'm eating, and my family has told me, like, you're not supposed to do that. You're not going to digest things well. And I mean, this is like before, we know as much as we know now, and before we had iPads and all the things. And so I kind of always like dismissed it, like, okay, whatever. Because for me, had so much anxiety at one point where I needed that in order to be able to like swallow my food. And kind of like I would, anyways, long story. So I would seek to distract myself. And then now with like this neurology kind of potential reason for IBS, it's interesting to think about. Like, I wonder if we were more present with our food. And I'm not saying everyone, like, but a lot of times, like, people read the newspaper, back in the day, or they talk or whatever. They don't actually enjoy the food and are present and one with the food. And I love this Japanese, when I was like trying to learn Japanese for a second. I love this like tradition to say "tadakimasu," I think is the word, where you're like basically giving thanks for the food, and you're like connecting to what's on your plate, whether it's plants or animals or whatever. And it just like I started doing that a little bit, just like taking at least like a moment to be like absorbing what's really happening on your plate, if that makes sense. And you feel it like in all your body. And so I wonder if we would start like having our own plants, our own farms, our own poultry, whatever. Which, by the way, that would be very difficult that would be even worse for bird flu, because like we have less regulate, like we're less able to regulate, their lives, their places. But yeah, I wonder if like things like that might like go away, or like slow down, or like minimize. I know it's like such a out there kind of thought, but my brain just like starts thinking about things like that. Sorry, I'm like so behind. I was going to talk about other things, and now we're on this food thing. I do like talking about food because it's not really a passion, not food, but like not diet, like digestive system stuff, because I've had such terrible first 10 years of my adult life, like starting in the last 2 years of high school until I still in some ways, but until 2017 for sure, 2018, I had like terrible like acid reflux, like terrible. And a lot of it was silent. It wasn't really heartburn. It was just pain, like chest pain and stuff. And yeah, and it was emotional. It was mostly emotional, because when I met my ex, like it literally went away. Even when I was extremely stressed, and there was definitely times of like extreme, even more stress than before. even then it went away. So it was like it's there's something to that brain gut connection. But also, like, yeah, that's all good, but sometimes you can't control the stress. So it's like I've always sought to understand and fix it because I don't want to be in pain and I don't want to suffer all along. And so I'm like really interested in this, so that's why like, I just started talking about it. No eggs or potatoes. That's no fun. I hate eggs personally. I've never liked eggs. They gross me out. Um, I love sunny side up eggs. Like my grandfather used to like make them and then like mash them sort of. So it was like not an egg salad, but kind of. But they were like a sunny side egg salad. But when I do it, like it has to be like the film has to be completely like cooked or like I actually take it off and I hate that. But I love the yolk. But I'm so grossed out. Like eggs, yeah. And just the taste of egg generally, like it has to be very specific. I don't really like eggs. So I can kind of relate to that point. But potatoes, don't hate. Oh my gosh, potatoes. I mean, you can hate them. Everything has sugar. It's the amount of sugar you consume that you have to watch out for. Yeah, yeah, especially in the U.S. I'm so freaking tired of this. I got my French bread, no sugar in it. I when I see people in the grocery stores looking at that whole bread aisle, all of that bread is not bread. All of that bread should just like go away. I cannot believe that is still so popular there. Like, and that people in 2025 don't know to not buy that bread because it's not even bread. It has so many chemicals, so much sugar. It doesn't even taste like bread. It's so weird texture. Sorry, that was like the European in me for sure. Like bread, don't mess with bread and Europeans. Um, Also, fun fact, I don't like bread. I'm not a huge fan, but if I have bread, like I have to have like good bread. Um, but yeah, in the US, everything's like with sugar, injected with sugar or whatever, and corn syrup. Corn syrup is huge for IBS, apparently, too. So I think I said that last time, though. I heard about the Ewan McGregor breakup from a YouTuber. It seems like he wanted his wife to be, a stay-at-home mom. I'm like, is that like a weird fetish thing? And killed her career. He also would work a lot, and then got with a much younger. Yeah, I didn't know because I stopped following celebrities in general for a while. So when I saw, I didn't know. Reminds me of that like John Mulaney story. Have you guys heard of that? Like, I feel like that's just like one of those things where people get away with things and they just get away with things, you know, when it's like nothing that's like legal minding. But yeah, that made me so sad with Ewan McGregor because I loved him so much. And I don't know, this whole thing with like getting with someone younger, for me, like, I don't know. We'll see, but I cannot do older or younger than like, I can't really do older than my age. Maybe a year older, maybe. And younger, like below, like my ex was like 4 years below, younger, like that's the max. And that was even hard. But because also like what we had like so many conversations about like, oh, remember this, and first of all, like we didn't even grow up, like I grew up in the US only partially, so but still like you remember the same time periods, like with someone so much younger. I mean, it happens and great, but like when it's around, I don't know, he fell in my eyes quite a bit with that one. Yeah, wasn't she no, that's Colin Firth's wife. Are they still together? I like Colin Firth too. No. Are you kidding me? This is, oops, sorry. Livia Jujoli. Why did they separate? Wait, I just clicked on why they couldn't move past Livia's betrayal, getting over an affair with an alleged stalker. What the heck? That is a lot to ask. Well, I didn't see that one coming. Hold on. That should be a movie. Oh, I don't have anything to write on. But that sounds like a great movie. Oh my goodness, though. That is crazy. All right. Well, at least that. I don't know. It's still cool. Love Actually, just one of the best movies. I have SIBO, which is related to IBS in my stomach. Well, wow, sorry, I'm so slow. I need to read faster, go faster. My stomach has always been bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to cut out onions and garlic and can put small amounts back into rotation, but I don't eat them. I also, whoa, I did not mean to click on it. Oh yeah, I heard mushrooms. I used to love mushrooms. I can't really, yeah, I don't think they sit well with me anymore either. I heard that, can you do garlic infused olive oil? That fit smooth food something Selma on YouTube. She says that garlic infused olive oil is okay for IBS sufferers. I don't know for SIBO. But yeah, like if you've not tried that, maybe try that and see if that. But yeah, that would be hard. I think I can't really do garlic. I got today this garlic sauce, and it's interesting. We were talking about probiotics and prebiotics last night, and I think like I felt that with garlic, but also maybe that's why I was bloated. But it came after. I can't do garlic. My grandmother can't do garlic. Something with like the gallbladder. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. This the topics of conversation. But yeah, so yeah, but I have to have my garlic and onions in my food. That is hard. That is hard because to me that's like the most of the flavor. So, oh, I feel so bad. That is so hard. I've been testing mushrooms that prevent me from eating it. Since ooh. Oh, that's not good, Maria. Yeah. No. Not good. Wait, is that sugar that like it prevents you from eating sugar? That expands. Yeah. My doctor is trying to figure out what is wrong. Yeah, my stomach has always been bad, and that for a better word. You know what? This is so interesting. It's so interesting because we all kind of have not similar issues, but it makes me think like, is it that common, or is it kind of like when I was doing so? Oh, I was going to talk about this. So I have been working on getting my relationship coaching, or I need to figure out a better word, a better term than relationship coaching, because yeah, it's like it helps with relationships, and it's a kind of like around relationships, like all relationships, not romantic only. But I don't know, just it doesn't feel exactly right. But so I'm working on getting that back up and running, and the website I lost it, so I have to redo it from scratch, and I had to take this week honestly to just mourn that and just be frustrated with that. But they say, like we were told, that you'll end up working with your attachment style. Like the people that you're going to be coaching will be the people that have your attachment style, or the one that you had. And so I was like, oh, that's interesting, whatever. This makes me think of that same thing, is that effect where like people like find each other, and even though like you have no idea that there's something that's like really similar, it's there, like our subconscious process. But this I can't even blame the subconscious for, because we've not met in person or whatever. So that is so interesting, because like I don't know, all of us, I'm not going on here, but like we have like very similar things. So it's so interesting, but like different at the same time. But like in this, I don't know, I think, yeah, I was talking to someone today in person. Where was I in person? Oh, the guy who like checked out my groceries at Trader Joe's, and we're talking about like all this stuff too. Not all of this stuff, but because it's food, and we're talking about like, oh, this was good or whatever. And then I forgot. My brain just left. Okay. Anyways, something. It'll come back. Me too. No onions. Oh gosh, no onions and garlic. Yeah. I can't have too much garlic. I put garlic powder. I found doesn't really do anything, but it gives that taste. Have you guys tried that? Yeah. But raw garlic, it's going to be tough tomorrow. It's crazy. When I was young, I could eat anything. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was saying with the guy at Trader Joe's, that there's so much stuff in food that maybe we don't even know is in food, because we only know what they list. And I don't know, and this is not coming from like a conspiracy theory side, but like genuinely we don't know. And how that is made. Like I was mentioning, the Cleveland Clinic doctor saying that they're not even allowed to study the seeds of GMO stuff, GMO seeds. So, like who knows what that does inside. And also a lack of nutrition, because like I look at tomatoes a lot. I don't actually look at tomatoes a lot. That sounded weird, but tomatoes are like, for me, one of the easier foods to see how they lack less and less in nutrition. They're not even ripe. I went to like Trader Joe's to get tomatoes, organic tomatoes. None of those were ripe. I'm like, how am I supposed to eat this? Let this freaking tomato ripe and then put it on the shelf. But because it needs to transport and whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get some tomatoes to grow, because those are pretty, like they're really really easy plants to like grow. But yeah, because you're saying that when you were young, Maria, you could eat anything. Same. And I think almost not everyone, but almost everyone could eat so much, so many different things and be fine. And then you grow up and it's like, what happens? It has to be what we're exposed to, what we're eating, or how we're eating it. Like I was talking about the leaky gut thing, or like the things that are different now in foods that weren't before. Maybe they have less nutrients and so forth. Like, yeah, it's interesting. Oh my gosh, this reminds me of Russell Brand. Did you guys see that? Because he's into like all of these types of like conversations, and I used to be a fan of his, and I liked him for the first year or two when he had his like YouTube channel. And then it was hard to watch his videos lately. They were a little too, I didn't agree with them a lot. But I just saw Andy post something. I was surprised. I thought I was seeing NPR or whatever, and then I saw Andy Popcorn Planet post about him. I knew about the charges, I think last year they were coming up, and he addressed them and whatever. And talk about someone who like word salads. Yeah, he kind of word salads. You walk away, it's like, what was he saying? I sometimes don't understand what he's saying. Did he say I got these jeans in my head? This is YouTube music, so I don't know, but it's pretty cool. Sometimes we have unknown food allergies. I love mangoes, but they don't love me. Yeah, bananas used to make my mouth itch. Ooh, but I can eat plátanos, plantains, the green with no problem. Yeah, because they're different, right? They're a different. I literally almost said a different animal, but they're a different plant. Or can you eat green bananas as well? But yeah, I can't. Oh gosh, I got guava bubble tea today. I think I'm allergic to guava. I think I have something like how people describe, like, I've heard people with allergy to apples describe things this way, where, like, yeah, your mouth doesn't feel all that right. Like, you don't, like, you can breathe and stuff, but, like, something is, like, off. And I feel like that's me and guava, and I love guava, or at least the juice. I've not had the fruit ever, but I love it so much. And I was like drinking this bubble tea and feeling it. I'm like, darn it. I was hoping it was the sushi, but I'm like, there's nothing in the sushi that that I have not eaten. Yeah, I heard about the Malini thing, his poor ex-wife. Yeah, that, and then like no one, sorry, I'm so behind, guys. I'm so sorry, but no one like talks about that. It's just like all happy smiles with him and what's her name? Olivia or something? Um Olivia Munn. Yeah. And oh gosh, I just saw a little bit. I saw like, I think it was her article or someone talking about her article. And yeah, it was someone analyzing like the history there. And oof, it's just sometimes this is where I think like there is no such thing as fair or karma or whatever. And then you also think of the other side where Olivia was suffering a lot with was it breast cancer, and he was there. So it's like I don't want to be an adult. I don't want to be an adult. That's where I end up. My husband is my high school sweet. Oh, I did it for a few, but he caught me. Oh. Love Colin. She cheated on him. They got back together. Then she cheated. Oh my gosh. Okay. First word of no. Well, I joke, but kind of. If it gets out of hand, simping is not a word that we're going to be using here. I have very strong opinions and thoughts about the idea, the concept of simp and simping. It's a false concept that was made up by whatever those people are, those guys online that are all against feminism and equality and stuff. But yeah, I was watching Dr. Kirk Honda talk about that and kind of the history of it, or can't even call it a history. It's not been that long, but and yeah, that word gets to me so much. It's like it personally gets to me because of like personal kind of triggering, but also just I don't like those concepts that are like put into society for malicious intent, and then society just adopts them, and it keeps us further asleep if that made any sense. But yeah, that is really messed up. That is really messed up. But I think it would be a great movie. Like, obviously, like, I don't want him to be around the movie, but because Google said, like, not only it was the same guy, but apparently, like, he was an alleged stalker. So I'm like, oh, that's like a movie. That sounds like a movie. That's horrible. I love Colin Firth. He seemed like such a nice guy. I remember She's All That. That was maybe my first. No, it wasn't my first time seeing him. But yeah, so screwed up. Women can be cheaters too. Women can be bad too. Side note on that though, Bridget Jones' Diary, I don't get it. I don't get why it's so popular. I like the idea of it, but I watch it sometimes. I'm like, this is not funny. This is not fun. I don't like Renee with a British accent. It's weird. Like, why not get a I don't know. It's just like all weird, but I guess that is a kind of a fun irony. Kingsman was amazing. So I'm looking at like Colin Firth stuff now. What a Girl Wants, not She's All That. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I messed those two up. What a Girl Wants. Yeah, Mamma Mia. Oh my gosh. I have to see the other Kingsman. Yeah, such good filmography, almost said discography. I saw the one with the like the starter. Was it a king or someone? Oh my gosh, Girl with a Pearl Earring. Shakespeare in Love. Oh, some interesting, fun movies. But yeah. Mushroom is a fungus. Yeah. It's interesting because I'm really not okay with mold at all. Like, I'm for sure allergic to mold, or no one's good with mold. But I can smell it and instantly I can feel like it in my throat and my nose. But I love mushrooms, and I thought like the connection, and then but apparently to like according to my blood or stool or whatever vial used to determine beach mushrooms and oyster mushrooms are like oyster mushrooms are one of my superfoods, and both are okay for me to eat. But like shiitake or like portobello or like the white mushroom or whatever is like I should avoid. So I'm like, well, interesting. What's the difference? So it might be also the mushroom type. And also when I think of, again, the mass production of like the regular mushrooms we see in the stores, like what do those mushrooms do? I don't know. Yes, infused onion and garlic oils. I don't have that time to make it. Oh, you have to make it? I thought like you would just buy it. Yes, it's a fungus, and we humans can't really digest them because it's something about their cell walls. Mushrooms fascinate me. I didn't know that. They're cute. I think mushrooms are cute. Interesting. I love homemade smoothies with veggies and fruits. Have you tried? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Have you tried smoothies with arugula? Like fruit, I've started doing my own mango lassi sort of drink, which is just like yogurts and whatever's, and then mango and a little bit of honey because it is a little too weird to not have that be sweet. Usually I don't put honey or any sweetener in my smoothies because I use ripe bananas and ripe fruit. But yeah, so not that one, but any like mixed fruit, I put like what do I put? Like banana and blueberries and strawberries. Those are like my main go-tos. And then I generally put like water. I used to put just water or like coconut water, or now like the 3 ingredient almond milk or something, and then arugula. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it's not in the stores. It makes me want to open up my own smoothie shop just for that. Like it's such a great combination. And I've discovered for sure it's so much easier to eat my salads in a smoothie, and you don't really taste them, and they're there. And I also like, because they say like it's supposedly like it's not good if you have like this smoothie, like it breaks down the like stuff, the nutrients. I don't know if that's right. Or like having a banana, like makes the nutrients go away with the other fruit or something. I don't know. Someone told me that. I found it very hard to believe. But the way that I do my smoothies, they're definitely not that broken down. um, but yeah. Nice. We're growing scallions and chives. Ooh. Me too. It's easier and healthier. Yeah. We've only done tomatoes. Drinking it in the morning is I've tried to grow lettuce, and that was a disaster. There was just bugs everywhere, and it just was a disaster. And then I've tried having the what do you call it, the herbs like in the little thing in the house, and that was a disaster. And I also tried them outside, but then I saw spiders and things. I was like, nope. So, uh, I'm definitely a city person trying to like grow, my own food, not even close. Drinking in the morning is really good and holds you up until dinner with something else in between. Oh, like the smoothie. Because of my stomach issues, I only eat the greens. I can't have the whole scallion. Yeah. What's RWNJ? What is that? But yeah, like I said, I used to like him. Russell Brand, I'm guessing. I used to like him and think like, oh, this is like great. And then I don't know if he changed or I changed. Either way, right now, not a fan at all. Dinner is a whole different thing, though. I can't figure out what my stomach can handle. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. YouTube music. Can't have apples anymore. Yeah. Yeah, apples are hard. Garlic, onions, apples. Oh, yeah, that's like the FODMAP thing, right? Adulting is messy, so I try to give people, including myself, grace. Yeah. Gosh, yeah, like the nuances with adults and adult relationships. How can we grow our own protein foods for dinner or lunch? Probably stop having gut issues. Yeah. What do you eat for dinner usually? Or I don't know. Like, so I'll say that I want to go back to the way that I was brought up, which was you eat like well, like it depended. It depends. Like we didn't eat much of a breakfast. We ate like a sandwich, like a toast or just bread with like butter and jam, or like liver mousse, pateo in Romanian, or like salami or something, and then with like hot chocolate, milk chocolate, or coffee for adults, or tea, etc. So that was like technically our breakfast in Romania. And then for lunch, we would have like the big meal, and we would have like soup, and it would usually be around 2 or 3, because that's when, for school wise, that's when I would get off. So like I don't remember having like, I think I would have like a sandwich at like noon or something. But we would get off school around 1 or 2, and sometimes even noon, depending on the day. And then, yeah, so 2 o'clock was kind of like lunch, and it was like just the soup, always soup. So you have the minerals, and I loved sour soup. And now knowing my gut issues, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I needed the probiotics. So, soup, and like the main meal being like, you know, chicken, like the chicken drumsticks in the oven with some water and garlic and thyme, um, or like whatever it was. And like French fries, honestly, was a big one, or mashed potatoes, or like we would have spinach. That's on my meal prep for this week, is like a spinach meal. It's spinach, you like boil spinach with lemon and garlic. There's so much garlic, I'm sorry. And like some tomatoes maybe, and I think that's it. And it's so good. And sometimes you put meats, but you don't have to. Or like potato meal was like mâncare de cartofi is the English, the Romanian. So meal is like what I'm trying to substitute for mâncare. Like tomatoes, you boil them in with like some tomato sauce and some like peppers and onions, you know, saute that and put the potatoes, boil it, whatever, and some meat. And that was another meal. So things like that. And then for dinner at like 7 or 8 p.m., we would have again some like, you know, toast or whatever. But I think like, or like eggs in the morning, like I was talking about, and things like that, depending, but depending on the day and so forth. But yeah, so I don't know, maybe like trying that, like having like your earlier meal. I know you said that you're not eating after 6 anyways, but yeah. I'm sharing because I don't know, maybe something will like, this is like my thing is I like when people share because something might spark like, oh, I didn't think of that, or I haven't tried that, or oh, yeah, I tried that but no, or whatever. And that's why I'm sharing. Like you don't have to like try anything that I'm saying, or you know, maybe I like am so off. um I don't use that word, but yes, that's what they call Colin. But men can cheat, and they expect we women to take them back. Yeah, yeah. Like just because someone's like in his case, taking her back. Like I think that's just being a nice, good person, and maybe having some attachment issues where, like, you know, he might have not felt um like he definitely crossed his own boundary with that. So it would be interesting to know why, what that boundary issue was that made him go back, you know. But it's also like I'm saying this, it's impossible to like find online. This is like in his own mind. So yeah, it's not like, oh, you're just weak, because I think when I think simp and simping is like just like stupid men, you know, little boys that never grow up and want to just blame the world and not grow up, and thinking that, you know, emotion and love and respect is weakness and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I think of simping. I love Granny Smith apples. I've never been able to do Granny Smith. It's so sour. I can only do Fuji apples, if that. But that's like even hard. That is a high, like that is a usual FODMAP. Apples are like one of the number ones. Apples and bananas, I think, are like the number one, like common ones with FODMAPs. Um, uh, Yeah, I can do in a smoothie though. I wonder if you can too, P. The twist is she allegedly lied about him being a stalker. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, I just realized. The connection with Love Actually. But that was his brother in Love Actually. But in Love Actually, his, you know, fiance or wife cheated on him too. Oh gosh. Okay, Maria. I mean, it's not like a big deal, but it's just like it hit me. Oh man, I can't eat the white button ones. I should try the enoki ones. Yeah. I've not tried those. Mushrooms scare me when I see like, because you know there's some that are poisonous. So when I see them, that's not what scares me when I'm in the grocery store, because assuming like they thoroughly know what they're selling and testing. And I'm talking about Whole Foods type of grocery stores, not like a local grocery store. But what scares me is like, how do I know they're molded? I know that sounds kind of ironic because they're fungi, but um, like I don't know. I know like when I look at any other food that I'm used to see the mold, because mold differs too. So like I'm always scared because I've seen some of those like more less like used mushrooms be molded or just not looking very good. So that's like my fear of trying different ones. I tried oyster mushrooms. I don't like them. They taste weird, and they're. I feel like the texture is weird too. I don't remember. Bring your veggies and fruits is healthier. Coconut water is good. Yeah, I don't care for coconut water taste, but I put it in like smoothies or whatever. But some people are allergic to that too. And also it gives me not acid reflux. It does something. Exactly. You can taste the veggies. I eat pork chops, ribs, steak, turkey, ground meat, and chicken, rice, pasta, soups, and salads. Yeah. Um, yeah. I feel like I do. Those are heavy meals. Welcome back, Maria. I just got to your rice, pasta, soups, and salads. That's such an awesome. That's a cool saying. Yeah, pork chops, ribs, steak, turkey, ground meat, and chicken. This is like before 6, you were saying. um I mean, again, I'm not a dietitian or anything. I'm talking like, I know anything, but for me that would be hard to eat. Sometimes I can, but sometimes usually I can't. Like at night I opt for like mac and cheese, or not. I try to avoid meat anytime after like 6 or 4. I don't know. I eat, so my meals are like, my lunch is either like noon or 1, 2 p.m. And then my dinner is, I'm trying to have my dinner be earlier. Right now it's like around 7, maybe 6, the earliest. Because it's just like not natural for me. Like I grew up with dinner being like 7 or 8 p.m. Um, but again, like it's light. Always think light. Um, but like even for lunch, if I go out and I have ribs, I love ribs. I love pork, pulled pork. Um, and but I know it's heavy. I know I can't do that every day. Like meat is, there's something, I think we're losing or lost or something, digestive enzymes. Have you guys tried digestive enzymes? Not just probiotics and prebiotics. I've wanted to try that and I've not done that consistently to see if it helps, because I've noticed there's me and my cousin also started having some issues digesting meat. I can't do ground meat for a while. Like I've not been able to. Yeah, hard to digest if you eat late. Yeah. um but well, also like what was the time before, like, because I also imagine like if you waited too long to eat, by the time, yeah, baby, oh my gosh, ribs are so amazing, but they're so easy to like not make amazing. So many places like give you like dry ribs. Like, no, give me the tender full fat rib. Like, I don't eat this every day, so just give it, like it's supposed to be tender. Um, but yeah, I don't know, like, but that, like, I can't eat ribs every week, maybe. Like, it's like once in a while. Um, yeah, I don't know. I actually started taking pictures, and to be honest, like, I'm trying to do vlogging, but not like every day, not kind of like boring vlogging, or I guess boring vlogging, but for people like me who are 39 and not even starting over in life, but like just trying to start life, because that's how I feel like, where they don't have money, they don't have savings, they're not like, people who can I'll just take the year off. I'll just like go travel. Cannot do any of that. And I can like just buy anything that I want, and I'll just like buy a new wardrobe or whatever. I don't know what people do. And I don't have all the answers, but like food, like I'm trying to like, get my life together, and food is a big one. And so I am losing weight, but also like eating healthier, not just like the weight. And so I've been taking photos today and sporadically yesterday, I think, of my meals. And I wanted to put that in there because I think I eat differently than most people. I don't get very inspired by like YouTube content creation meals. I'm like, this is American food. There's like an interesting, and I eat American food or American things too, but like, it's like bland. It's like the same thing over and over again. And oftentimes I feel like sometimes there's things missing. Like, for example, I told you about the like spinach thing. It's such a good meal, but no one makes that. Like, I think there's like, in the cultural, ethnic foods and dishes, there's just like, it's sometimes there's like gold in there. And I always felt like the way that I ate, at least Romanian wise, not all Romanians eat healthy, but it was pretty healthy. It was a lot of vegetables and but it was cooked vegetables, which people like hated at one point. It was the whole raw diet, which my acupuncturist, or not mine, but the one that I went to, said under no circumstance that's good for you. Your body is not made for raw vegetables, for the raw diet. And yeah, what is a Romanian meal you like? It's so tricky. I used to love stuffed grape leaves, and the way that we do stuffed grape leaves is with meat. So it's more like Greek grape leaves. No, sorry. Is it? Yeah, Greek, yeah. But Greeks can do it both ways, meat and without meat. And they're not sour. But now grape leaves, I think I have something, I think it's like the fiber. But grape leaves, I can't do that anymore. I made my clothes too, but lately the fabric prices, everything has skyrocketed. I'm afraid. What was I thinking of buying today? Like, multiple things, like stock up on something. It was like, I don't know what it was, because I thought, oh boy, like, will this like go up? I don't know. It was some food thing, maybe yogurt. I don't know. I was raised that dinner was at 7. Yeah. Um, yeah, that was my thing, and I like it. But again, like dinner being not like a heavy meal, but I know French people have, 7, 8, 9 p.m. like big meals. I was not raised that way. I like my little like sandwich for dinner or whatever, but like sandwich with jam. You don't eat like a sandwich with like meat in it and whatever. Um, So I used to not like this. I'm going to share. Let's see what comes up. I used to not like this at all. You see, there's one Romanian person that does things. Okay, that's not really what's... yeah, people put egg in it. I cannot do egg. I used to not like spinach, and sometimes I still don't, because it leaves that film on your teeth sometimes, or almost always. But this is kind of, let's see, like, what's the fastest we can go with this? No closed captions. This is like kind of becoming my favorite. I just discovered this playback thing. I did not do this before. No, they don't have the thing. So yeah, it's like tomato, salt, vinegar and onion. Oh, vinegar, garlic and onion, and spinach and tomatoes. And you boil, and you crush and you transfer and you boil some more and then I didn't know about that part. We don't do that. We just like boil it. And then you saute and then yeah, there you go. You have a spinach meal. It's really good actually, and some people put egg on it. I didn't grow up that way and I don't like it. But yeah, that's one. I love lettuce wraps. Yeah, I've enjoyed some lettuce wraps. I bought 20 items at Walmart, which is supposed to have lower prices and spend. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, yeah, everything is like really expensive now. What are your favorite? Are you like from like certain countries? Like, were you born in the U.S.? Were you born outside of the U.S.? Or do you have like a cultural food that you love eating, or like American or whatever? What's like your favorite meal? And in the meantime, I'm going to look at my like little things here. Oh gosh, I don't feel like, you know what? I'll just like talk quickly about this. Just get these things over with. Meghan and Harry. So I don't have these on my list, and I can cross them off. Meghan and Harry charity thing. I haven't watched if there's any new developments, but basically, Sophie Chandauka or whatever, chairwoman of Centebale, whatever charity that Prince Harry co-founded with Prince something. Gosh, I suck at this. I'm just like trying to just go fast and just spit these out, so I'm just done with them. Anyway, so they co-founded in the memory of Princess Diana, his mom, and suddenly like this chairperson came on, and it's not just Prince Harry, but like there's a lot of issues around her, which like it was interesting to me because it's like it's just like it's to me, I say a moment of pause, to not jump quickly on like, oh yes, Harry and Meghan were like bullying her or whatever. And also to not jump on like, oh yes, like Sophie is like there's something wrong with her. It could be both, but it is kind of telling, I will say, that it's not just Harry that retreated from this. There's like other people that had issues with her. And I think of, oftentimes what I found in like companies and things, it's like someone comes in, they're either hired for exactly what they end up doing and people hate them for it, or they just have a different approach to things, a different mindset, and it's not well communicated, and there's like misunderstandings and misconceptions of what is needed, and that new person goes off and does their thing, and I say, I'm doing what you hired me, and they're like, this is not what we hired you, or whatever. And so it could go off. As far as the like stage issue, I'll pull that up because I'm like, well, I don't get the big deal out of this. Why was this a joke? This is where, I was saying with the donut and Blake, I'm like, okay, let's not exaggerate here. Puerto Rico, rice with anything. I can't do rice and oats. I cannot do them. I can only do basmati rice loosely, like sometimes. But the like more this, I have like, I think a starch intolerance or something, because both oats and rice have starch. I cannot do starchy rice. But I can do sushi. My dad told me to eat fewer foods that have a shell. I mean, it didn't sound like you were eating any shell stuff. Or is that as the reason? Let me pull this up too. So, this is like the big thing. Supposedly, like, this was like such a, I don't know, exposing Meghan and all that stuff. I don't get why the big deal with this. Like, they clearly looked clueless. I don't know. To me, that's like not. I don't know. Maybe I'm like. And if anything, honestly, Sophie looked the most like. Okay, I'll say something to this. Because I do understand, like, for hearing the one, and I'll link it below. You can watch like the Sophie's interview or whatever. I can understand where she's coming from. Um, hmm. To believe this being like an issue, I need more proof. Because, so for one, I don't think that Sophie should have or needed to, if this was the case, submit a like I like Meghan or whatever. I'm, not saying the thing. Hi Rabia, welcome. Um like a statement in favor of Meghan, or that she has no problems with Meghan. I forget what she was saying. Sorry. Maybe I wrote it in my notes here. No. Okay. Well, anyways, so I don't think that Sophie, needed to do that. Should have been asked to do that. I don't like that part. But as far as the choreography, um, this, I mean, honestly, I keep saying, like, if you want my honest opinion, not truth, my honest opinion, um, I mean, I don't see Meghan's fault in this. Was it that she wasn't supposed to be there and she was a last minute addition? Okay. I don't understand why Sophie blocked Prince Harry. What was the choreography that was so hard to like pivot from, This is not, because honestly, when I heard this and I heard the word choreography, I literally was thinking like some kind of dance. I'm like, what is going on? This is not hard to pivot. Things happen. Life happens. Life happens. And then you, hold on, let me see if, sorry about that. I need to test the microphone. Um, sorry, corn beans, etc. They have shells. Oh, okay. I didn't think of that. I thought like shells, like the meat, like shellfish. Um, yeah, that sounds, man. There it has to be something with like something in the food or something. I know I said something so many times for us to have such particular intestine issues. Like, it's not even the stomach, it's like intestines. And it's so interesting right now. Anyways, back to this. But yeah, so I'll be honest, as far as like, I don't, life happens, you pivot. And in charities, in, companies, you pivot. That's success. If you're not able to pivot, you're not going to be successful, period. And especially in like, oh no, what am I talking about? Even in Hollywood, everywhere. I was gonna say, especially in like corporate. No, and when I say corporate, like any kind of anything that's not artistic, basically. So, charities and things. So I understand that she felt awkward. Maybe it was like the other way around. I don't know, but I don't understand why she like. I'm gonna watch this again. Why she went there? As if like, who was supposed to hold that? I don't understand. But again, I don't fault Meghan for this. And I was, I had my notes, and I'm not necessarily, like I said, I'm not necessarily on Meghan's side, or Harry's side. I think I'm very curious why, the headlines are saying harassment and bullying, that Prince Harry was accused of this, of harassment and bullying, because even based on Sophie's interview, she says Prince Harry and her had a great relationship, and even now they're like okay, like she doesn't have anything with him. But the members on board thought they could get away with mistreating women. And there's like the Sussex machine, the PR machine that supports his efforts. So it sounds like she does have a personal issue with him. And that's like where again, like when I first heard the story, I was like, oh yeah, I don't, yeah, it's not sitting well with me what, you know, Harry and Meghan are said to have done or whatever. Because like, you know, Harry leaving the UK had donors retrieve from the charity because he left, you know, the UK. You know, that's not good. That probably caused some issues. Um, but as far as like this and planning to resign, and I'm interested if we'll ever know what's happened and the truth and stuff, because it sounds confusing, and and again, this whole like situation here is not that bad. I don't understand. And also, it wasn't that explosive, but okay. Like, if you watch the interview, um, it's kind of bland and not that explosive. She doesn't say that much. It's just confusing. It's really confusing. Because one moment she's like, yeah, like, it's, you know, Prince Harry, it's like his PR machine, Netflix, like, Meghan didn't RSVP, and then suddenly she's coming and she can't just like show up like that. Like, okay, that's fair. That's actually pretty a fair point, but you know, sometimes it doesn't work that way. And yeah, some people want or need or whatever special treatment. Again, you pivot. But the Netflix thing, I understand even more. People say like, oh, you know, um, it's not a problem. What's the problem? You're getting PR for your charity. But she explained how like the venue charged them more, or like wanted different things because it became a commercial event rather than a charitable event or whatever. Like, okay, I can understand that. I don't know how, you know, how real that is, to what extent. Um, but yeah, but then like she says that yeah, she has no problems with Harry, and it's these like other members on the board, male members, that have issues with women and mistreat women. And then so like, is this like the media kind of mislabeling these stories because the story is around Prince Harry's harassment and bullying, but then she says that herself. And so it's like, what is the story? I'm so confused what the story is. So yeah, Prince Harry not having visited in 5 years, like, I mean, she does sound upset and frustrated, and maybe that's like where all of this is coming from. I don't see a winner and a loser in this because I'm still confused as to what the story is. This was, I think, 2 weeks ago. I think so. Hold on, let me pull up. Oh, I can't really do that. So, oh, this was last week. Okay, so this was the breaking news.
With your work with Prince Harry. So let's just start with the origins of Centre Ballet. What was the point? What was the aim of setting it up?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Trevor, for having us here on behalf of the entire Centre Ballet organization, 540 strong. This is an opportunity for us to just set the record straight, and also, but as you roll on to 2024, the issues in Southern Africa are actually quite different. HIV and AIDS is no longer a death sentence, and so our health and well-being of young people. And so at Centre Ballet...
And also, this is for the Zoto, and then there was she wanted to move the charities, what is it? Like main place to South
We're
Africa.
focused on health, on wealth, and on climate resilience of young people in Lesotho and Botswana.
Okay, over time it's built to be quite a big outfit. It's a
Botswana.
multi-million-dollar outfit, I think. You were on the board for 6 years, and you've been more on board more recently. Sophie, let me start with you. When you came back as chair in 2023, what did you think was going wrong?
Say normally, I wouldn't want to discuss family business in this way in an open forum, but here we are, and I'll do my best to be frank in my disclosure. So when I arrived in July in 2023, of course, the first thing you do is you open the annual report, you look at the board minutes to see what it is that's going on in the organization. When you look at the I did a 7-year historical review of the financials, looking at our costs and looking at our revenue, so income. It was pretty obvious to me that we had lost quite a number of corporate sponsors, we'd lost some families, and we'd lost individuals who were doing.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, so I'll link this below. It's not boring, but to me, I'm just confused. I wish I could provide more, clarity, but the clarity that I feel like that's the clarity that I have is that the story kind of changes and I'm having a hard time following what the story actually is. Is it Harry? Is it not Harry? Is it Meghan? The donors, yes, I can understand, and I fully believe that people left because Prince Harry left the UK, and it's not quite the same as like Blake Lively's situation, but when people do certain things, people pull back their support on those people's charities or things that they support. So I get that, and so sorry, it's like weird. So I think that's where it stems from, but then it gets into this like chair members, like male chair members, like harassing or like mistreating and this and that, and yeah, I don't know. I'm confused too. So
Let me put to you what some of the members for each other. All of this came as a...
I get really like it just goes all around if you watch, and I'll again link it. Let me like just put it in the chat now, but I'll link it obviously in the description. Is it because she married out of royalty or he married out of royalty? No. People who don't like Meghan, it's interesting because it's not. Yeah, they're the. I feel like it's at that time, maybe when they got married and so forth, it was maybe more of like royal family enthusiasts, people who like the royal family. But now it's not. Now it's people that have nothing to do with that and even could care less about the royal family. I think, it's I don't know. Like we've talked about it before. Like I don't really know, but I know that at times I don't really like her, or like she rubs me the wrong way. But then I just don't watch the stuff that I don't like, or I don't go out of my way to support her or whatever. But to like hate her so much, I don't know, because as far as I've seen, she hasn't done bad. Like things like Blake Lively, she literally did things that hurt other people. When someone is just being maybe selfish or like out of touch, which people is, that's kind of like what I hear from people saying about Meghan. I'm not saying that she is or isn't. But that's kind of what the sentiment is, that she's out of touch and she's selfish, or like she doesn't care about, like she cares about how she looks. That whole like charity dance on the stage thing was like, the idea was that she just like made about her, whatever. Things like that is like the sentiment around her. And it's like, okay, I don't know. I've not followed them that much either. So I don't really know one way or another. But again, I don't like her. I don't watch her. And I mean, I watched her Netflix special and mostly it was okay. Like there were some things that was like, that's not sitting well. And sometimes it wasn't even with her. It was like with her guests. Um, and so yeah, I don't know, but try things out. If she is really doing bad things or whatever, then okay, like let those things come out. But yeah, I think as far as the royal family part, I think yeah, there's who was on here talking about like just the sentiment that she took him away from his family, and I think it's important that they're both adults, and just like you really someone's leaving their family or cheating or whatever, unless they're in an abusive relationship, unless they are manipulated into it and gaslit, like actual real gaslit, then anything else is like their own will, their own decision as an adult, weighing all the options. And sometimes the options are, there's no best option, or so you go with whatever is like second best. And for what they experienced, it sounded like he felt that he did not want to risk, and they claimed that it was already going down that route for her to be like his mom, to end up like his mom, so they left to for her safety and so forth. So like, sorry, I feel like sometimes it's a lot of like talk about people that we really don't know, and circumstances that 99% of us will never understand and will never know. So yeah. I don't know. Whoops, sorry. Um it might be that, but it's also she's a divorcee, which is frowned upon. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really heard that much about that. That's when I think that was maybe more of the criticism at the beginning, like I said, of the people that love the royal family. Um, I have that's not one of the top sentiments that I hear though. I know you said she was in Suits, and I still haven't watched it yet. Were you here when I said don't watch? Don't even. You don't need to even try watching Suits LA. It's horrible. But Suits, like the original, definitely is awesome. Um, so yeah, and then, gosh, it's 12:15. Wow, what the time? Oh, she was married before. Well, that's not a good reason to dislike someone. No, but like for the royal family stuff, yeah, like it is frowned upon to be married, to be divorced. Um, but I don't think it was like that huge. But it was like mentioned. She's also mixed race. Yeah, I think that was like maybe more. That's a whole can of worms. That's that's correct. Um, yeah, to me, I'm like, what is what? And I'll say that I do feel, yeah, original Suits. Um, when it comes to people that have unfortunately suffered through um, prejudice of any sort, I think a lot of like women, and I had this one friend who, wasn't a friend, whoa, what did I say friend? Just a coworker, who I remember before I started becoming more sensitive to being offended and stuff. But I remember, um, she had already probably gone through a lot where she was dismissed or minimized because she was a woman. But I remember how she was coming at everything that way, and I I do wonder how much it's that, as far as like people that talk about that, or even Meghan herself. I haven't really seen her talk that much, but I think not so much about race and racism, but she does talk a lot about like women, and that kind of turns me off. I'm like, it's kind of like the whole how Blake talks about, like women are always this, or Taylor Swift. And I understand that's a sentiment that's like correct most of the time, and that, you know, gender bias and so forth exists, and there's still no equality, and so forth. But it's like sometimes you can hear some people talk about it with a blindness rather than like being very present in the actual issues that are happening, if that makes any sense. But yeah, there's those things too. Um, None of those are reasons to dislike someone. I mean, technically, you can dislike someone for any reason, but yeah, like hate. I don't think, you know, I don't think we should hate that much that easily. Same with Blake. I mean, I know I'm not popular even with you guys when I like said what I said about the donut shop thing, but I'm like, what does it matter? Like, it's not going to like help her with, you know, people. We have critical thinking, so I don't know, like it's I don't think that I think there's a fine line between criticizing someone rightly, or even if it's like just from your perspective, but it's like a fair criticism. It's a fine line between that and bullying, especially with celebrities, so yeah, like yeah, I don't agree. Oh, I mean, I agree. I don't think that at this point I've seen anything that warrants so much hatred and bullying of Meghan Markle, Meghan Sussex, whatever, Meghan. Um, but it's happening. And it's weird. I mean, when she came out with her Netflix special, again, okay, you don't like her, don't like her. You have issues with her, you have issues with her. You think that she like destroyed his life. You think that she destroyed his life, but you don't have to like bully her. You don't like, that's your opinion. We've not been to court where it's been proven one way or another. And here's this grown man talking and loving her, and talking to defend her and his decisions and all this stuff. And it makes me think also in that sexism realm, where people with the Blake Lively thing were always like, oh, it's actually Ryan, he's the mastermind, or this or that. I'm like, it can be the woman. The woman can be the mastermind. I think it's very sexist, speaking of all of that, to assume that, the woman can't do that. For me, like with Meghan and Harry, it's like kind of the opposite. It's like, it's also sexist to just assume that the woman is like conniving and this and that the man is just like, they're just stupid. I don't think Prince Harry is stupid. He might be like blinded by love or whatever. But again, like I was talking about simping and Colin Firth, it's important to know that people's decisions are based on whatever they have worked on or have not yet worked on. And it's based on what works for them. And like, not just as a whole, and I've been through this personally, like, let people make their own mistakes. They might not be mistakes. You might just not understand their journey or their decisions because you also don't live in their life and in their like circumstances, and in not just external but internal circumstances, like in their own personal journey, like what they need to work through. And so, like, yeah, let's not jump, on this like hate train for people just because, including Blake Lively. Like, we can criticize her, we can hold her accountable, and it can be, all these things that are fair, that are relevant. but when it comes to, and even like her character, because that's kind of in question right now, but there's like that fine line that I just don't think that we need to cross, and it's sometimes hard. And I've crossed that line. I've told you, like, when I was reading her complaint, her amended complaint, I'm like, I can't do this, guys. Like, this is triggering, and things are coming out of my mouth and into my head that I don't like, and they're not aligned with my values and what I want, to like express and put out into the world, because it affects other people and also who I want to be. So this is what I think, internet people should think a little bit more about. Like, just log off. Don't engage with that trigger over and over again if you can't handle that trigger, and you can't process it. If it's like to that point where you hate someone, or you're like just spitting, just like you belittle them and you bully them, and you know call them names. Like, I've not watched Donna since we spoke, I think maybe once, and then I have not wanted to. And not because of that whole incident with Dave Neal, but I guess that was like the final straw. But just like already, I just did not, I don't like that name calling and just like making fun of people. I don't care if they're like the worst human being. That's not who I want to be, and that's not the what I want to like co-create in this world. And I know that I'm human and I will go through moments like that, or so yeah. Yeah, but back to Meghan, the same thing. Like, we don't have to like her. Prince Harry needs, or whatever, Harry needs to like her. Harry needs to love her and her kids and all that stuff. That's their business. And as far as we don't have to watch the Netflix shows. We don't have to like do anything. It's hard, like, when it comes to charity. That's kind of like, oh, should you donate or not? But there's also plenty of other charities as well. So if that comes to that, but yeah, because we don't have to trust her, we don't have to like her, we don't have to do anything. But also, in that same sense, I don't feel like bullying her is the right thing either. We can call her out on things if we see things. We can, like, do that, and it can be humorous, it can be funny, or like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I think people don't really understand like the fine line of bullying and doing that. And again, like, I will be wrong in that too, so call me out if you see that. Yes, none of these reasons dislike. You don't know what I said. Yes, I only dislike that for most of her acting career, she was a white passing woman and never seemed to correct anyone until she was leaving Suits. I'm gonna say something that got what's his name from The Bachelor in trouble, but those were also maybe different times. And again, I think it's easier said than done to stand up for doing the right thing. Um, yeah, I don't know too much about that time and about her around that time. I know she was doing a lot of charity work on the other hand too, so I don't know. I'm not saying she's perfect or she's like a great person. I'm just saying, yeah. But yeah, that probably can rub people. I mean, if that's like something that's out there, I have not heard that part, but that definitely will rub people the wrong way. I don't hate Blake because I don't know her. Yeah. I dislike and I'm upset with lying. Yeah. And I mean, and we can be outraged. There's also like, hi, Suso. Hi. My dog is trying to get up on the on the bed. I do feel bad because she's sleepy. Like, imagine if you would have to like jump up. Um, when you're like sleepy. She made it though. Oh, so cute. But yeah, like we can be outraged. There's like triggering and rage, or not rage. Outrage is also like they can look the same. It can be similar, but it doesn't have to be the same thing. Um, because it's healthy to be outraged about things that, like, lying and dishonesty and ruining someone's life, or just whatever, like, just for also disproportionate reasons, you know, like I think we could all understand that if Blake, oh, that, wait, if Blake truly was like, and I'm not talking about her 17 or 32 or 23 or however many points. I'm talking about like serious like stuff, victim of serious stuff. We could understand, you know, the ruining of the other party's career, maybe even life, you know, but that's not what's showing up. And even what she herself is claiming is not worth that. Like, it's disproportionate to what she claims and what she's trying to do. So yeah, like we can be outraged, we can like yell or whatever. But like, yeah, hate and bullying and like putting down, to me, that's a line. I dislike Blake because I dislike habitual liars and bullies. Yeah. Like I'm really like really frustrated with with her like response to Wayfarer response to her motion to dismiss. I'm like, she's infuriating. This is, you know, my thumbnail. She's infuriating. Just stop. And because it makes, I think I've even had dreams lately where it's like, or maybe not lately, but definitely throughout, you know, my adult life, where it's like you just yell like stop. I think lately because I've been watching a lot of Will Trent, so there's a lot of crime and stuff in there. Um, but just, yeah, just that frustration. Also with my mom, it's like, yeah, you know, mom's family. But yeah, um, it, it's infuriating. It's horrible, and it's what's that word? It's abusive. It's abusive. Like pathological lying and manipulation is abusive. Um, what's her, and she is also a bully. Like right now, from what we're seeing in like interviews, in how she speaks about people and how she's handling this, and again their words that come out in responses to these documents or the documents themselves, she's also a bully. Blake Lively, still, I feel like we don't have to like sink to that level, you know, and be bullies ourselves. And I'm not saying any of you are. I'm just like just going off on a rant from that point. What's her race? She's black and white. Yeah. Meghan. Um, wait, what happened with Dave and Donna? Oh, you weren't here. Oh, you love Dave. Oh my gosh, I was like, you love Donna. Because they have the same first two things. Check out. I cannot do justice to my personal rage on that. Um, Oh my gosh. Sorry, let me pull up. I was like going to share my video. Sorry. Ah, gosh. My goodness. Okay. So Lauren's live. It seems like she's like ending the live. Blake Lively, another motion to dismiss. Oh my gosh. Not my studio. I don't know that I will. Part of me doesn't want to like read these or engage with these motion to dismisses, because I just noticed I need to change my thumbnail, because it's just like, I don't know, I'll take ask two lawyers at their words that this is just like paper war and it's just going to be back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it's interesting, and I'm learning like 12B6 is now like something that I know. Or is it 47, or is it 74.1, 47.1? I'm feel like I'm not dyslexic until I have to like speak things out. But yeah, Rabia, check that out. I'm kind of um in between proud and embarrassed at that video. But basically, I don't even remember what happened, but something Donna went off on Dave Um, she was definitely triggered from like being Jewish, and also the one, I don't even know, this other YouTuber creator that I have not even heard of, but apparently she's big or something, and she's pro Blake, and she's, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and Donna was like not really believing that creator like had long COVID or whatever. I don't know. It was just, yeah, 47.1. Yeah. I second guess myself. That's the link to my video about them, talking about them. And the video, Donna's video, I don't even remember which one it was. I think I included it in there. Did I include it in there? This stuff, SEO, not SEO, but kind of stuff. And it's with chapters, so you don't have to waste your time. I've slacked on that one. Or mostly pop culture things, and is on a podcast, someone else's podcast that does pop culture things. Oh, Zach could edit that out. He's free to edit that out if he does not want that on his podcast. You know. Oh, am I like smooth or am I like freezing? I don't feel like I've been freezing lately. Taylor Lorenz, yeah. Why you so thought it was a guy? It was because of her friend. Oh yeah, Donna's friend. Yeah. So the first link, Rabia, is my video. And then the second link I just copied. But it's also in that description. It's the specific Donna video that talked about this thing. Oh gosh, I don't wanna even see Russell Brand, but I'm kind of curious now. I've still, fun fact, I still have not seen one Taylor Lorenz thing.
Metropolitan Police on 4 heinous allegations by 4 separate women in an investigation that has lasted nearly 2 years. Now, while I haven't covered this story as much as I've covered others, I have a little, and I have expressed my own private bias in that I have a friend who I do believe was abused by Russell Brand. I shared that tweet this morning, and after I got some replies to it, along with seeing Russell Brand's response, I felt the need to respond.
Oh, wow. That's like personal. Wait, I did see this. He's showing his response.
My opinion, but that is what I've tried to build this platform on. And in this, he's
working in the mainstream.
Early on when he did his first response to this.
Very serious allegations that I absolutely refute. These allegations pertain to the time when I was working in the mainstream, when I was in the newspapers all the time, when I was in the movies, and as I've written about extensively in my books, I was very, very promiscuous. Now, during that time of promiscuity, the relationships I had were absolutely always consensual. I was always transparent about that then, almost too transparent. And I'm being transparent about it now as well. And to see that transparency metastasized into something criminal that I absolutely deny.
Okay, I'll say something that's like really triggering for me is like this whole like thing. I remember, I think, behavioral arts, what's his name? Spidey. He did a video on that one. Not panel, but spelling that. It takes too long right now. He's in Las Vegas doing his thing. But I think he did the Russell Brand thing somewhere. It was a while ago. I think it was like a year ago. Ben and J-Lo. That's another one. Why just people need to stop hating on people. Stop hating on J-Lo. Stop hating on Ben. It sucks. It hurts. Anyways, it has to be somewhere. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So he was like talking about how like, you know, these gestures are very usual for Russell. So I think he was saying like it's not really like, you know, body language detectable or whatever. But it's like when someone does that, it's like it does not feel genuine. They always refute. Yeah. The title to which video? Mine or Donna's? Or this one? No, not this one, because this one's on the screen. gosh. I want to see her. She made a video. I've not seen one single of her videos, but what is this? Ooh, I don't like dates. I had a bad experience with dates when I was little. I might be allergic. I don't know. I just remember like throwing up or something, or just not liking them. So yeah, but that looks good. So mine is heated Friday night hangout sesh. And it's this one. 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks already. Wow. Look at those little views. 54 views. 54 views. And then hers is fun fact, I hate like watching my own stuff or whatever because I'm such an like analytical person.
Tired of
where like I have to have my data very clean, and if you watch your own video, like it counts. It shouldn't, but it counts and in your analytics, and I'm like, so yeah, sorry. Weekly wrap up. That was also March 21st on Baldoni, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I've been out of the loop last week. This week, I've not caught up. It was the kind of like a laying low week, and I have not caught up with anyone. It's not just, I haven't seen Andy. I've seen Lauren a little bit and Dave, but like,
Makes me question, is there another...
They're going to report on this. And could you essay type of allegation?
Wait, I want to freaking stop. I mean, I do this too.
And prosecuted. How do you...
Not wrong.
Some of the high-profile cases that are not being pursued and prosecuted. How do you feel that the Southport murders were handled? How do you feel about the government of Keir Starmer? Now, that's just sort of general context. Me, I've always told you guys that when I was young and single, before I had my wife and family, were just out of shot over there, my beautiful children, I was a fool, man. I was a fool before I lived in the light of the Lord. I was a drug addict, a sex addict, and an imbecile. But what I never was a rapist. I've never...
To me, that's like such a weird claim. So you're admitting to everything but that, and it almost sounds like an ego thing, or like, not wanting to be in trouble legally. Because like if you were all of those, and I think he was even asked at one point, like, how could you tell that you weren't this because of all the other things? Like, what if you were like so under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or whatever that you didn't even know that, there was no consent or whatever? And I think he was saying something, or I might confuse, someone else or something, but he was saying like, well, no, I know. But again, also like we know so much more now as far as like how hard sometimes it is to like refute consent. Is that a phrase? I just got a recommendation for Lawrence Live, and that the friend you mentioned. Yeah. No, wait, what friend? When did I what am I saying? This Lauren, Court of Random Opinion. She's I'll watch the replay. If I click on this after I end my live, I'll be up all night. Oh, look at that. It's not just our phones that are listening. Even like
Ewan
YouTube
McGregor left his wife for his lover, but she had the last laugh. Ewan met Eve Mavrakis when he was 24. Although Eve was already 30, her graceful and captivating looks made Ewan fall for her at first sight.
Oh my gosh, that's so annoying with that song, with that music. Okay. Man, like we were just talking about that. I don't have anywhere else. Like I didn't look him up. I looked Colin Firth up, and look at that. YouTube, Google, because Google owns YouTube. This looks disgusting. It's probably good, but it looks gross. Oh, that's cute. Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
I'm a dietitian, and this is what I eat for breakfast. First, I boil my eggs for 6 minutes and then transfer it to cooled water. Then I mix together soy sauce, water, garlic, honey, jalapeno pepper, green onions, and sesame seeds. Then I add the eggs to a container, refrigerate overnight, and the next morning I add it to leftover rice, drizzle some sauce, and add kimchi. It only takes a few minutes, and it's so good. If you're looking for an easy meal, I'm a dietitian, and this is what I eat for breakfast.
Also, I like how people are like looping things, but I hate it at the same time. Nah, I'm not gonna try that. I don't think I can do soy sauce in the morning. But yeah, anyways, but I want to see it. Like,
Never engaged in non-consensual activity. I pray that you can see that by looking in my eyes. I want to thank all of you for your
He prays that you see that. He prays that you see that now.
continuing support. I want to let you know that our show will be on Rumble on Monday. Thanks for your support there. And of course, I'm now going to have the opportunity to defend these charges in court, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. In the meantime, you lot, stay free, and we will be continuing to discuss this matter. Praise the Lord.
sorry, praise the Lord. Like, I don't know that even if I was religious, I would feel like that's appropriate to say in such a context and in such a like who is he? Gosh, I think he's just changed. I don't think it was me. I think earlier on, I mean, he was, as he said, not a great person, but like he had some, I don't know, more lucid thinking. I think now he's just like gone. I don't know. He was most celebrities behaved that way. He was a drug addict when he was young. Yeah. I actually have his bookie book, his first book, and I actually liked it. I liked how he wrote it and stuff. I didn't finish it, of course. I don't remember, but yeah, like I don't, but you guys have not probably seen Robbie Williams's movie Better Men. It was nominated for an Oscar for like CGI or whatever they called it. Because the whole movie he was like a monkey, and I want to see his Apple TV or iTunes, whatever, Apple TV, I think. Documentary more, but yeah, this movie, and he had like a tough young adulthood, not exactly childhood, but things. There's like Me and My Monkey, the song is like interesting. I don't know, in the movie it looked a little different, his childhood, than like that song. Not that that song needs to be truth, but yeah, like the 90s, early 2000s were crazy. But that's why I'm like, I would find it hard to believe that he didn't do that, and he might not have realized he did that. Doesn't make it better, and it's hard, and that like opens up the whole conversation around statute of limitations, honestly, and like when is it too late, and it's so complicated because there is, people kind of resist looking through the perspective of the time, but there is that time, and like, oh gosh, it's complicated. So, but I find it very hard to believe that he didn't do these things, if that makes sense. I'm not saying he's not an okay man now. I don't know. He looks lost, honestly, ironically, because he talks about the Lord so much. Eggs, yeah, we were just talking about the eggs, yeah. Maybe in soy sauce, the eggs are better, for you, because, yeah, unless you had that on the diet, too. Yeah, I mean, eggs are, like, really nutritious and, yeah, very good. And how does she know before other content creators, Lauren? Court listener. She has, and I get the instant notifications as well, but I like right now it's it thinks I'm sleeping right now, my phone. But I don't always, let's see, wait, I haven't refreshed this. So it's usually here, and it just has like something like this, like buy on Pacer, because it's not available yet. And then they do whatever and they make it available. However, like she also signed up for Pacer. So Pacer is the official thing, like our family friend that's a lawyer. I don't know what you call it, like database of all these document filings. And honestly, I got lost in trying to even sign up for it. I tried and I just got lost because there's also like something that's like adjacent to Pacer that I don't know. So, but yeah, that's how she does it. The courts are closed, but you know, like things come through midnight. Yeah. I don't know how to respond to that except that, you know, the amended complaint, was it, or something? Remember, like when everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's live now, and everyone was like trying to you know, get online and everything. That came at technically after midnight. I think it was like 12:03 or something. But I think it was filed at, you know, 11:59 or something like that. um yeah, apparently they can send these things anytime, and in, you know, East Coast they're like earlier, and watch Suits, they can work all night, I guess. Oh no, you know, there's like this other movie, Partner something, with gosh, I don't even know anything to even look it up, but it's on Netflix, I think. And yeah, they like were up all night and blah blah blah. Yeah. But yeah, Court Listener is like the one that really is usually on top of it. So I guess not with that one. Or maybe it's one of these other ones. No, because this is this hair studio thing. Hair studio, hair brand. Maybe it's this. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think she hasn't covered that one maybe yet. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah. So I defer to Lauren as far as like the breaking news of all these court filings. She's awesome at it. I'm not, and I'm going to like step step back from, you know, what I'm not. It's not really my strength. You know, I tried, but I need to also like do what's in my strength and not try to, because like my whole life has been like trying to fit where people need me to fit, not where I fit, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to figure out where I fit in this whole YouTube world, and being like right now it's really exciting, and then it's just not my strong suit. I don't know, but Lauren is awesome at it. So yeah, but yeah, with Russell Brand, I don't know. It's
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I will do that for you all. I will attempt to be neutral, even though clearly I'm not. It's frustrating because when I talked to my friend today, and how emotional she still is, as this always comes up when she's got to see him. There's nothing about, well, I'm getting clout, I'm getting for clicks. There's no reason she would make this up. There just isn't. And I don't ask you to believe her because I know you don't have the details I do, but I'm just telling you, this whole experience makes me realize we're not always being neutral. We are demanding that victims provide video, time-stamped evidence, texts that are proven, blah, 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 blah. Like, there's just, we've swung the pendulum so far over that now they're all liars. And all the celebrities, all the rich people, they're the truth. It's always the mainstream media.
I disagree with this. I don't think that people see it this way. I think there's always people who see it that way depending on the situation, and I don't know that many people believe Russell Brand, honestly, either. And he, even from what he's saying, sounds like, so you probably did this. You're just saying like, I did everything else but this, you know. It's like, okay, cool. So we know. But yeah, I don't think that's the sentiment. But I do think that proof is necessary. And the hard part of it is, this is why, like, it ends up ideally in courts and with people that can, like, look at a lot more of the circumstance and everything, and testifying and depositions and all that stuff. Because yes, like, I think someone's experience that didn't have text message or whatever. I mean, back in the day there wasn't a thing, right? But you can also have people testify about their experience, or testify, or, like, whatever. But sometimes I think the hard truth of life is that it's not perfect. And unfortunately, sometimes people will fall through the cracks, both as victims and also as, like, on either side, victims of, like, his victims, Russell's victims, and also, like, the Justin Baldoni, or, like, if Russell Brand wasn't doing this, which, again, I guess it hasn't been proven, but it's highly likely. And that's why, gosh, should I make this more political? I don't want, and I don't believe that there should be the death penalty, because there's just so much, like, humanity is not perfect, our society isn't perfect, and we humans are not perfect. So to make something so permanent, and I mean, jail is hard enough, but people somehow feel like it's not. And sometimes it's not, and sometimes, like, people can do, like, really bad things from jail and all this stuff. But that's also why we should, like, put people in jail that need to be in jail, not, people that don't need to be in there, so we can have, like, better, like, organization of jail. But yeah, it's gosh. At the end of the day, the truth is that things will not be perfect. And sometimes perpetrators will get away with it. And it's hard because it's going on both sides. Blake Lively could get away with it, or if you think Justin Baldoni is, the perpetrator, he can get away with it. Like, and as two lawyers was saying, even in the court system, like, yeah, like, they were talking about, like, sports, like football. American football is such, like, a, well, I mean, soccer sometimes too can amaze in the same way, but American football, I feel like, constantly, like, until you're at, like, that one last minute, like, you don't know who's going to win. I mean, unless it's, like, 50 points ahead or whatever. But yeah, people can get off with what is not technical difficulties. That's on my mind now, but oh gosh, I forget what it's called. On technicalities. I was making that too hard. People can get off on technicalities, etc. But yeah, like, I think it's wonderful to think that in the world we can have perfect justice and fairness, and you know victims can be vindicated. And is vindicated the same thing? Etc, etc. um and I hope that in this case the truth comes out and the justice is served whichever way. That's, like, the best we can hope. It makes me, I'm talking about this especially because we're talking meanwhile about the whole, like, 47.1 situation. Like, well, on that, it kind of makes it sound like Justin Baldoni, someone that's been accused, like Russell Brand, has no way to fight against the allegations, because you're saying that the only way to defend yourself is through a counterclaim or a counter lawsuit. And so it's like, are you can't just, like, do that, because sometimes it's not going to be like that, and then people are going to fall through cracks. Is it, like, better for someone to be labeled as like a perpetrator of these kind of allegations, lose their career, lose their family sometimes. And I don't think in Justin's case, but like in just regular people's case, like lose all of that. And they were innocent, but they were just unable to defend themselves. And is that worth it for all the other times that's not, true? I don't think we can say that. I don't think that person's life is less worth than victims that, are lying and they're not victims, or, like it's all just fair and unfair is all I'm trying to say. I'm getting lost in my own trying to thing. Yeah, I also thought about like people going late to work or whatever, and like, or like taking days off, and how people say like, oh, people just take advantage, and if we had like unlimited sick days or whatever, like no one would show up for work and blah 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 blah. It's like, no, there will be some people, but that's not the majority. Those are the exceptions. And even right now, because we've been so like deprived of like life and just decent life rules. Yeah, we've been in a desert, so we might drink a little bit more of that water if we were given unlimited sick leave, or unlimited vacation or whatever. We might do that a bit more until it evens out, because hey, after like a year, 2 3 years, it's going to be like, okay, whatever. Like, humans always in life kind of always goes back to like homeostasis. So I don't like that whole notion, like people taking advantage. Like, that is just fear, like trying to control people through fear. And the same thing with this. Like, I understand, and Andy was saying, like, I'm going to try to be neutral, but I can't. And I understand that, and I hope that justice will happen and it's going to be okay. But like, I'm trying to balance how, like, we're also talking about believing a man that was accused of, not this, but, that same realm of things, Justin, and by a woman, Blake, and doesn't look like that's real. So what do you do then? And the whole law that's being into question now, this 47.1. So it's like, we need to talk about the like kind of also the irony of going through these at the same time.
I just don't think enough people cared about Russell Brand that much to do this whole campaign. Personally, I don't. Joe Rogan's still in the air. Tucker Carlson's still in the air. There's a lot of really conservative and free-thinking people that are still on YouTube that didn't get pulled from YouTube. So this idea that Russell Brand was the real enemy against the mainstream media, I mean, really? To do it to this extent, to get the Metropolitan Police to go follow through on allegations they're gonna have to spend money on in court. Really? Especially when you can go back and just watch a little bit of these videos. I have one clip I wanted to pull before I wrap this up. Here it is.
I mean, I would say Russell Brand is a conspiracy theorist, so I wouldn't expect anything less. That's what his whole brand, irony, pun not intended, but I'll take it. His whole brand is on being a conspiracy theorist. So, what would you expect? Sorry, show proof. Why wait so long? Waiting so many years, the trauma is not clear. You start to block traumatic memories. Yeah, oh gosh. There's a whole thing. Memory is unfortunately really unreliable. So if something happens, like, document it as well as you can. Like, write it down, journal it, record it, go to the hospital, something, because memory is like both unreliable in the moment and also outside of the moment. And the further you go, absolutely, it's influenced one way or another. And so that makes it tough. It makes it tough. And that's why, there is a need for proof in the legal system because like people, and also they're like lie detectors are not really, you know, that accurate. They're not going to be I think they're not admissible in court, like the findings of a law detector kind of thing. um so yeah, like it's hard. It's hard to prove anything and to like figure out the truth. It's hard. Yeah.
Like, he's done it to himself.
From Essex, from a single parent family. That's a pretty comprehensive show off.
Yeah.
So that's like, you know, if there's anything being protected, it's that. Oh, and also I raped someone once.
Ha, that's so funny. Look, it's not funny to me.
That's like Blake. We have a male Blake on here. Exactly, a psychiatrist. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. And he has to be unbiased or he'll lose followers. Nobody knows what happened until the proof is shown. Yeah, I think this is a very tactful and respectful way. Because that's the thing. When Donna, it's not the same thing, but these are kind of similar situations as far as like Andy has a bias towards this story. You could say has a trigger, but he's not triggered, and also it's not as personal. It's like a friend, so it's not him per se. And then Donna was like personally triggered, and also, you know, but the way that Donna was handling it, and maybe because it was personal. And this is why I go back to like do the work, heal yourself. So when you know, you face things that would be triggering because of your specific trauma, like you can handle it in a way that is I don't know, coherent comes to mind. I don't know if that's like the right word or a right word, because it sounds kind of maybe condescending. I don't know. Sometimes I question my own like word choices because, you know, PC and all that stuff. But like where people can actually take it in, and also you can express it, and you can make sure that you're being as fair as possible. I think Andy's being fair. I think he has an opinion. I don't think. I think he's like even better than when he speaks about Blake Lively. I think he's even more respectful. His tone of voice is so much more respectful, and he has said, you know, I didn't watch the whole thing. Because I don't want to just like show his content. Obviously, it's his content, so you know, go watch it, and I'll watch the whole thing after this. But he said just in those like snippets that I showed, he said twice like, I will try my best not to be biased, but also the tone of his voice and the way that he presented this and all this stuff, it's like he's being very, very respectful and to his followers about this. That's what I meant by respectful, not to Russell. And of course he's like, yeah, respectful to his friend, but it's not about them when he's live with us. It's about the followers. It's about us. And he's being very, very respectful and as neutral. See, neutral doesn't mean that you're always like, you're opinionless. You can have an opinion. Or at least maybe neutral is not the word, but you can be grounded. You can be untriggered, you know, and have an opinion calmly, or even like slightly less calm and respectfully, and not alienate your audience. And I think he handled this really well, considering
Me, especially when I do believe my friend. And to all you, Andy, how could you do that? People believed your accuser. My accuser was a clear liar. It was clearly proven. There wasn't other case studies that even, and a history of it, and there weren't criminal charges. Now there are. There are real criminal charges. There's a lot piled up, and it's part of the reason why I stayed out and didn't get involved until he was officially charged. And now that he's been officially charged, yeah, my friend's story takes even more weight in my mind. And if you
Okay, so yeah, it was just like alleged. It was just like kind of put out there before. Okay, and now he's charged. I get confused with the word charged. But yeah, it makes me. Has Andy talked about Army Hammer? It makes me curious what he says with that, because Army Hammer was not charged. He was not found guilty, or like there was no evidence on anything that was alleged towards him. So, yeah, it would be interesting, because again, it does affect the perception. But yeah, I think like, and I also think that, with Donna, like her covering the whole Kanye thing, like I understand that, the whole Dave thing was like, it was clearly like disproportionate, triggered, like it wasn't, it was just very, I don't know. Petty keeps coming. I need to learn some vocabulary, because it's not, I can get these words, but they're not the words that I feel are right. Anyways, so I do have the Army Hammer thing pulled up, but it's 1 o'clock, so bedtime. Maybe I should do another video tomorrow. I don't know. I didn't plan on going this late. But yeah, wow, this whole thing with Russell Brand. Oh gosh, what triggers me is the whole like Lord's name and Lord's name that and all that. It just makes it seem like he's using it, because I've also not seen him talk like that in his like video about politics. But anyways, I have my own opinions too, as far as like people that used to do bad things like drugs, or even just like would sleep around, which you could argue is a bad thing, but you could also argue that it's not that bad thing, depending, if it's consensual, especially. That like find church and find religion, and I'm like, and the whole idea that is the only thing that saved them and could save them, and without religion they would like have continued to sin. I hate the word sin, sorry. I think it's like BS, but anyways, and like, because like I just feel like take ownership of your stuff, instead of say like sin and I'm tempted and all temptation. Like, grow up. You're an adult. Adults are not allowed to say, I was tempted. There's no temptation. You make your choices. You were maybe like driven to make a choice based on your, again, childhood trauma and like issues and this and that. That is not some like, it's not the devil, and it's not some snake and some whatever. That's you and what life has given you, whether, it was your fault or not. Unfortunately, life is not fair, and that happens. It's not some magical creature or whatever. Sorry. Went off on that. But it just like gets to me, those people that, find Jesus, and they were like, they lived like a sinful lifestyle, and now they found Jesus and they're good. No, morality is morality. Don't tell me that's like your savior thing. You made that choice also to do that, or it was made for you, and then now you're honestly using in a different way. I think that's what gets to me, because people like who, sometimes people change or whatever, but I'm talking specific, like a specific type of like person that like does that transition, that basically it was like an addict of something before and now is an addict of like religion. They're using it to not do the work and to not heal and to not be a better person. They outsource being good, or they outsource their power. That bothers me. Don't rope in God or religion or spirituality or anything that it saved you. You save yourself if you want to do that. And you can choose whatever religion and whatever spirituality you want, and whatever you feel aligned with. But that's separate. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox or whatever. I just really went into that. I don't want a channel I'm subscribed to too many already. I'll wait until you cover it. I'm sorry. I think I reached my limit. Yeah. Good night. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. I'm going to go. That's good feedback. I'll cover it. I wasn't planning on it, although like now I'm like curious. And he kind of scares me. Not gonna lie. But Russell Brand, not Andy. But yeah, I'll cover it. I totally get that. I don't even know how I subscribe anytime, just especially since I've become a content creator more. That's can't believe I said that word about myself. But yeah, I've discovered like if I see someone, I'm like, oh, I'll subscribe to them, even though I might not watch their videos because I can't watch everyone's and stuff. But they'll eventually pop up on my feed or whatever, and I'll watch a video, especially if they're like lower on subscribers. And yeah, so I do that. I have a lot of subscriptions, but totally understand. I haven't watched his videos in a while either, so I'll put that on my list. Russell Brand. It's interesting what this channel is shaping up to be, especially with all the food talk and IBS. But anyways, cool. Well, yeah, I've probably annoyed both my dog and my parakeets because they're down here with me and you can hear it. And it's better than influencer. Yeah. Yeah, it is. But somehow it's like that imposter syndrome. Like, oh, I don't know that I've earned the title content creator. Like, who do I think I am? Literally, that was what popped into my head. Like, who do you think you are, Arena, to call yourself a content creator? But that's literally what I'm doing. Whether or not, it's successful or good or people like it, like that's a whole other thing. But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm creating content, I'm creating stuff. But yeah. Influencers. So I'll see you guys on Monday, I think. I might do Sunday again, but that would be again the 90-day fiance thing. So yeah. I really want to get into that market because I really like that show, but I haven't even watched it this whole week. I'm going to go watch it. Well, not now because I need to take notes. So, yeah. Yeah, I do create content. Yeah. It's just like, gosh. Yeah. Like I said, it's just imposter syndrome. Yeah. I relate a lot to Justin. Anyways, so I'll see you guys maybe Sunday. I don't know if I'll do that, and I don't know if you guys are interested in that. And if not, I'll see you guys on Monday hopefully, and then I'll research the Russell Brand thing. I know kind of a little bit about it, but I obviously wasn't making content back then, and not this one, at least not this type. And I'll maybe cross this like Sandra Vergara Army Hammer thing. Just didn't feel right. It hasn't felt right. So, okay. And then who knows what else will be there. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Have a wonderful night. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Let me put some like, what is this? Is this the good one? I don't know. I'll log off with some music. I'll leave that playing for, the end screen. But yeah, have a good night. Peace, love, and compassion. Bye.